Welcome to Only Talk Sports, and tonight we have the 2023 National Championship Game live reaction and watch party. It's the San Diego State Aztecs and the UConn Huskies. March Madness, it's over now after this game, and it's a little sad to see, but this should be a fantastic basketball game. I'm looking forward to it, and even though it's going to be over, March Madness will be back next year. College basketball will be back in the fall. So, I mean, you have to have an off season and nothing good lasts forever. But overall, this has been a great year of college basketball. So many memories, so many new memories that have been made, so many big moments that have happened in college basketball. This season that will be in our memories forever, etched in the yearbooks. All the stuff is going to be written in the future. If you still have books, it might be online. Who knows? But whatever's going to happen in this game is just going to be the icing on the cake to a fantastic season of college basketball. All the upsets that we've had this year in March Madness, all the great regular season games that have happened, have made this year, 2022-2023, the college basketball season that we've just had, one of the best in recent memory, it feels like. It just feels like it's been a great March Madness, a great national championship game should commence off of this great season, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in this game. Now, you look at both these teams, San Diego State and UConn, both teams that not a lot of people were expecting to make the national championship game, especially San Diego State. Yes, they are a great program out of the Mountain West, and you look at what Brian Dutcher has done as head coach of the Aztecs. He's done a fantastic job. And I think that overall, looking at what he has done, he's continued what Steve Fisher built at San Diego State. Steve Fisher had the Aztecs good year in and year out. But now you look at what Brian Dutcher has done. He's taken San Diego State to new heights. In the year that the season got canceled back in 2020 due to the virus, you look at San Diego State, they were 30-2 and probably were going to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Who knows what that team could have accomplished. But this year's team, a 5 seed, they're 30-8 right now, and they've gone all the way through Mountain West play, through that tough league. The Mountain West was actually ranked higher than some of the Power 5 leagues this year. And that's how good the Mountain West was. And San Diego State won that conference. And then they had a great year. UConn, more people expected to be in the national championship game, especially in the preseason. Going into the season, a lot of people thought they'd be really good. And they started the year 14-0. They had a rough skid in Big East play, but they started to get things turned around by the end of the season. And now UConn's been rolling. And the way they're playing, they're 30-8. San Diego State's 32-6. Both these teams are great basketball teams. Brian Dutcher, Dan Hurley, both fantastic head coaches. And the national championship game is about to tip off. It does, and UConn has the ball first. The 30-8, 4-seeded UConn Huskies against the 32-6, 5-seed San Diego State Aztecs. The final game of the 2023 college basketball season. It should be a lot of fun. UConn with the ball. And right now, it's been some pretty good passes by the Huskies. But Tristan Newton, he tried to get the ball to Adama Sanogo on the block, and it went off of the Aztecs' foot. So right now, it will stay with UConn. But definitely a pretty good start for UConn passing the ball until that last pass by Tristan Newton. Fortunately for the Huskies, it did go off of San Diego State, but 19:40 to go in the first. You got Adama Sanogo with the basketball. He passes to Jordan Hawkins, and Hawkins pulls up for 2, and that's a great sign for UConn. He knocks it down 2-0. Jordan Hawkins has had a great season this year, averaging 16 points per game. He could be a first-round draft pick the way he's been playing. That's a huge shot. He's had some struggles this tournament, but he hits a big shot there. 2-0 UConn. Now the Aztecs have the ball, and they shoot a 3, and they knock it down. What a shot. San Diego State has a really good basketball team. They have a lot of players that can knock down the 3, and that was a really good shot there. Lamont Butler obviously hit the big shot to beat Florida Atlantic in the Final Four, 72-71. And that was a really big 3 for the Aztecs there. But Jordan Hawkins with the ball, he passes to Tristan Newton, almost a turnover. And it is a turnover. It's a over and back on the court. They went across half court, and now San Diego State has the ball back. And that's going to be a big key in this game. San Diego State has a really good defense. And I think that's really going to help out the Aztecs in this game. They're going to have to play a great defensive game if they want to beat UConn. They're only giving up 62 points per game. UConn's only giving up 64 points per game. But if the Aztecs can hold UConn, that will really help. Right now, the Aztecs are passing the ball really well, trying to find some offense. A guy fell on the floor. Both teams are scrapping for it, and it's off of UConn. Andre Jackson almost had the steal, but he cannot come up with the basketball, so it will stay with San Diego State. But it's 3-2 Aztecs right now, and definitely the Aztecs looking like a team is trying to hang in there. You definitely don't want to let UConn get an early lead on you because UConn has such a deep team and they can pull away at any time. San Diego State has a lot of talent and depth too, so that I think they can hang. I really do. Lamont Butler, he's the one that started off San Diego State scoring. He's the one that hit the big shot. He's the one that hit the big shot against Florida Atlantic in the Final Four. So Lamont Butler hitting a big three to start the game for San Diego State. I think that is really huge. Jackson Johnson says, "What's up, Only Talk Sports Nation?" Thank you for being here, Jackson. It's the national championship game. It's the last college basketball game of the season. It's kind of sad, but it should be a lot of fun. It's been a lot of high-flying action early. 3-2 San Diego State over UConn, 18:33 to go in the first. And San Diego State has the basketball. Trying to inbound. Lamont Butler trying to inbound the ball. He gets it to Keyshawn Johnson, who's trying to drive. And Keyshawn Johnson kicks in the corner. San Diego State, it's another three. The Aztecs are starting out well on the offensive end. What a shot there. You felt like UConn would be able to slow down San Diego State early in this game, but you've got Darian Trammell, who's had a couple big performances this March Madness, hitting that three in the corner. Now Adama Sanogo has the ball on the right block. It gets poked away from behind by Nathan Mensah, who's a really good defender. And now he's trying to guard Sanogo again on the repost entry, and Sanogo goes up strong, and he hits the hook shot, 6-4. San Diego State leads. Both teams running the floor well right now. The defenses are trying to settle in. The offenses seem to be doing a bit better than the defenses. Trammell kicks it inside to Keyshawn Johnson. Alex Caravan on him. Keyshawn Johnson goes up strong, and he scores. 8-4 San Diego State. Really good start by the Aztecs. A really good start by the Aztecs. They're doing a really good job on the offensive end. Neither team's missed a shot yet. Both offenses are playing really well right now. Now you've got UConn with the basketball. It's back to Adama Sanogo. They're bread and butter on the right block. Nathan Mensah actually doing a pretty good job bodying him up right now. Tristan Newton gets the ball from Sanogo for three, and he misses the shot. Nathan Mensah boxes out Sanogo, and he kicks the ball to Matt Bradley. San Diego State with an 8-4 lead. Bradley trying to kick the ball inside to Nathan Mensah. He could take the mid-range shot. He takes it, and it's an air ball. Not a good shot by Nathan Mensah. He's hit a couple mid-range shots, but an air ball there, not a good play. Andre Jackson, he scores on the other end with a Tristan Newton pass. It's a really good play by Tristan Newton. 8-6. San Diego State only up by 2 now. Big shot by Andre Jackson. He's averaging 7 points per game. He's the only player with 30-plus points, rebounds, and assists in the NCAA tournament. That's crazy. Andre Jackson's been solid. And now Matt Bradley fading away in the paint, and he gets the 2 to fall, 10-6. Both offenses are still humming early, 16-20 to go in the first. And you've got the Aztecs up by 4, 10-6. Sanogo, he thought about the three. He can knock down that shot. He's trying to drive, kicks back out to Andre Jackson. They do call a foul on, I think, the Aztecs on Sanogo. Definitely a foul there, so you will have UConn to re-inbound the ball. 20 seconds to go on the shot clock. 16-15 to go in the first half. And that's the first foul of the game. Hopefully it's a back-and-forth game. Not a lot of fouls. You don't want to see a lot of foul trouble. Tristan Newton's driving in. That's a really nice play by the ECU transfer. That's a good play. 10-8. UConn cuts it to 2 again. But that was a nice play by Tristan Newton. He's got a pretty good offensive game. Yeah, he's a really good passer. And he definitely facilitates the most, but he can shoot the ball as well. Matt Bradley, he misses a 3 on the other end for San Diego State. Tristan Newton, he tried to get the ball to Caravan, and it's a turnover. 10-8, and San Diego State will have the basketball coming out of the timeout, up 2. Jackson Johnson says if San Diego State wins tonight, this will be a big win for the city of San Diego. The city of San Diego needs this. Yeah, especially, you don't have the NFL team anymore. That's tough. But overall, like you said, this will be a huge win for the Mountain West, for San Diego State. And obviously the Mountain West will be losing San Diego State soon, which is really tough. But I think that overall, the Aztecs, this is just a big for their program overall. Maybe it can boost them up once they go to the Pac-12, that they can have continued success going deep in the tournament. Who knows? But like you said, it would be big for the city of San Diego in general. Jackson also says, I still can't believe that this is the final college basketball game that Jim Nantz is calling. Yeah, that's incredible. Jim Nantz, he has done, a fantastic job throughout his career as a commentator. He's a very memorable name. He's great, at what he does. And I think that overall it is tough that you're going to be losing him. Overall, not on college basketball anymore. He's not done commentating, but he's going to be doing other sports. That is tough, but it is what it is. But we'll definitely have the memory of what Jim Nantz has done as a college basketball commentator. And I think that, he did a great job, and his memory will live on for a long time, and, a part of March Madness history. But I really appreciate everyone for being here tonight to watch the game. Thanks everyone for being here. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thanks everyone for being here. Jeff says, I'm here close so far. Thanks for being here, Jeff. It's been a pretty good game. I mean, I think a lot of people are expecting UConn to run away with this one, just get an easy win. I think UConn's favored by around 7 points, and for good reason. UConn's the Power 6 team. They've been dominating this tournament. They've only, won a game by the fewest points by 13. That's the least amount of points they've won a game by. 13 points against Miami. They could have beat Miami by more the way they were playing. It seemed like they kind of took their foot off the gas late in that game, not to wear themselves out. Probably a smart move by UConn, but they've dominated this tournament. So I get why they're favored by as much as they are. But San Diego State's a good team. But I do think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with, San Diego State overall. Can they hang in this game? Can they, get UConn, to struggle? Something UConn has not done this tournament. UConn's been dominating all tournament. And I think that overall, if UConn, struggles in this game, it will give San Diego State a chance to win, something a lot of people probably aren't considering. They're just expecting UConn to dominate. UConn has not had a lot of game pressure. Right now, they're losing. Something they haven't done in their last 3 games hardly ever. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Jackson says, what's up, Jeff? Jeff says, doing good. How about you? I mean, how can you not be doing good? This is the national championship game. There'll be obviously some sadness after the games are over, but right now this is the peak of college basketball. This is the national championship game between 2 really solid teams. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Buckeye Mike's here. Thanks for being here, Buckeye Mike, as well. Jeff says to Jackson, can't believe we're down to the last 2 teams. It's always tough to see that. You never want to, look at it as the last game, but I mean, you got next year. It's really tough. You still got the NBA. I know a lot of people are wondering with, the NBA, like some people don't like the style of playing it anymore. Will people watch it? But I mean, it's still something to watch, but I definitely see why some people don't want to watch it. But again, we got the national championship game. We got to enjoy it while it lasts. And it's been great so far. 10-8. San Diego State over UConn. 15:30 to go in the first. The Aztecs with the basketball. Matt Bradley down low. You've got A-Rope. He shoots, and he does not get the shot to fall. And now you've got San Diego State trying to save the ball, but it goes off of the Aztecs. And it is UConn basketball. 10-8. San Diego State. UConn with the basketball now. Still down 2. Something they have not done. They have not trailed hardly at all in this tournament. And now they have a little bit of game pressure. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Can UConn respond to this game pressure, them being down early in this game? I think they'll be fine, but it is interesting. They have not done it. But Tristan Newton, he's driving in, and they call an offensive foul. He dove into the lane, and they call an offensive foul. That's interesting right there. Jackson says time flies when you're having fun, for sure. That's an interesting play. I think if Tristan Newton hadn't have done the elbow, he'd have been okay, but he did a little bit of elbow there. It's just an interesting play, but the refs, I think, got that one right. Troy V, thanks for being here. Troy says, I'm hoping for San Diego State for the underdog factor, but won't be upset if UConn wins either. Just hope it's a good game. I completely agree with you, Troy V. I hope it's a good game as well. It's been really good so far. A lot of people want San Diego State to win because they're a new team, and a non-Power 5 team is not won since UNLV in 1990 with Jerry Tarkanian. So I think that overall, that's really interesting. And UConn, they've won it before, but it definitely will be interesting. But down low, San Diego State tried to get the ball inside. They went up for the layup, but Sonogo with the big block. That's crazy right there. Jada's here. Thanks for being here. Canada in the house. He says, what's your pick? I'm probably leaning UConn as well, like everyone else. I think that UConn is, obviously favored. I got them winning by around 5, but I don't think they're going to blow out San Diego State. And I could see San Diego State winning, and I hope they have a really good chance. I hope it's a back-and-forth game. Sanogo on the block. He's trying to go up strong. He does. 10-10, and UConn has tied this game. Jada says don't get Conn thinking UConn will blow them out. I agree. A lot of people think UConn will blow them out, and you never know what's going to happen. But it's been a good game so far, 10-10. But San Diego State has cooled off a bit. They're 1 of 5 since after starting out 3 of 3 from the field. So have to get things figured out here. Agwook A-Rope, he's down low, and he almost got the shot to fall, but Nathan Mensah gets the rebound. He misses. A-Rope's got it back, and now you've got UConn running the floor, and there's a big collision at half court. Tristan Newton looks like he might have hurt his leg a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be okay. But that was a tough collision there. You definitely want both teams to stay healthy. You don't want injuries, but yeah, it's just two teams playing really hard, and that's what you want to see. But yeah, Tristan Newton, he banged knees with a San Diego State player. That's really tough. Looks like Adam Seiko is who he banged knees with. It looks like both players are okay. But now you've got Andre Jackson with the ball at the top of the key. He had a nice shot earlier in this game, and he's trying to drive now. And now Sanogo gets the ball, and he lays it in. 12-10. That's tough. That is so tough to stop. That was a really good pass, a really good play, and Sanogo gets the easy layup. And if you're San Diego State, that's what you want to avoid. And now Sanogo's going to the bench, and now you're going to have Donovan Klingman coming into the game, and he's 7'2". How's San Diego State going to be able to stop Donovan Klingman? He's a mountain of a man. He's really tough to stop. But now you've got Lamont Butler. Definitely the reason the Aztecs are here. He hit the big shot for the Aztecs in the Final Four over Florida Atlantic. That was a huge shot to get the 72-71 win. But now he passes it down low. And, man, Donovan Klingman's so big. And they do call a foul on Donovan Klingman, I think. No, they actually called on San Diego State. That's crazy right there. The Aztecs do not agree. But Donovan Klingman, he guarded really well on that play. But Jaden Ledee, he was trying to drive in. I think he got the wraparound on Klingman, which is why they called the foul on him. Whenever you wrap your arms around the body, then they call an offensive foul. But that's really interesting stuff right there. 3 fouls on the Aztecs, 1 foul on UConn. And the ball goes out of bounds, but they do call it off of the Aztecs. So it's still UConn basketball at the top of the key. It's 12-10. UConn over San Diego State. The Huskies are starting to get things figured out if they were down early. It's 13-10 to go in the first. Andre Jackson to Jordan Hawkins, down to Klingman. Klingman goes up strong. He misses off glass. He had that play, but he overdid it. He overshot the rim, went off glass. Now A-Rope with the basketball for the Aztecs on the other end, and they haven't scored in 3 minutes. They need a bucket big time right here. And San Diego State for 3, they did not get it. They needed that shot. Now UConn's going down the floor again. Hawkins to Klingman. Klingman with a big collision. They call an offensive foul on Klingman. Man, both teams are running the floor right now. So much effort being displayed in this national championship game. But Klingman drove in, and Lamont Butler gets the offensive foul. He might have been on the outside of the paint. Yeah, he was. That is crazy. That is so crazy right there. Klingman, I would not want to get hit by Klingman. Lamont Butler, he's wanting to win, so I know why he took that charge. But wow, that is a tough play right there. That's 7'2", 285 pounds barreling into you. But now you've got San Diego State with the basketball. Adam Seiko with it. Now it's down to a post player down low, Jaden Ledee, and Jaden Ledee cannot hit the turnaround shot right there. Now UConn has the basketball. Tristan Newton trying to slow it down. I think both teams are a little sped up. You like the action, but you want to start getting some better offensive sets in. I think both teams are going a little too quick. Now Klingman's on the left block. Now it's outside to Naheem Aline, and Naheem Aline can't hit the 3. Back to Newton. Newton with the offensive rebound. He's a good rebounder for the guard position. Joey Calcaterra with the floater. He can't get it to fall. It's a pretty good shot, but he just could not get it to fall. So San Diego State has missed 7 shots in a row. Still only down by 2. 11:50 to go in the first, and the Aztecs miss a 3. Adam Seiko couldn't knock it down. Now you've got Naheem Aline pushing the ball down the floor. Tristan Newton back to Aline. Aztecs looking for an offensive foul there, but they cannot get it. Now you've got Tristan Newton, who is a really good passer, rebounder, and scorer for UConn. He is a do-it-all player. He's got the ball, And now Donovan Klingman has it. Aztecs haven't scored 5 minutes. Calcaterra down low to Klingman for the alley-oop. 14-10. UConn up 4, 11-20 to go in the first. The Aztecs are scoreless in the last 5 minutes, and they're lucky UConn's only been on an 8-0 run. It could have been worse for sure. Wow. 8-0 run for UConn last 5 minutes, and San Diego State's offense has gone ice cold. Another turnover there. They cannot get it together. Tristan Newton to Alex Caravan. He's driving into the lane, and he misses the two, but they call a blocking foul. 11 to go in the first half. High-flying action in this national championship game so far. But right now, San Diego State's offense has gone cold. They have not scored in the last 5 minutes. Troy V says those UNLV teams were something fun to watch. For sure. I mean, it's crazy to think that the last non-Power 5 team to win it all was UNLV back in 1990. That's crazy. Jerry Tarkanian, the towel. Everybody remembers him. And that was 33 years ago. And if San Diego State can win this game, they'll be the first non-Power 5 champion since UNLV. It'll be insane. But they're going to have to get their offense figured out because they're struggling right now. Jack says, as I remember, Jeffrey picked 75-70 UConn victory. Yeah, for sure. I made a preview video earlier today talking about this game, and I did pick UConn to beat San Diego State 75-70 for sure. I think that overall, I mean, I think it'll really be a close game. I don't think it will be a blowout, but it should be interesting. I'm dropping the link if anybody wants to watch what I picked earlier. Jada says 3-ball will not win this game. I completely agree with you there. I think that if you look at, the way these teams are playing, you got to get inside. And I think that's where UConn has the advantage with Donovan Klingman and Adama Sanogo. You can just bully your way in the paint, get the alley-oops. You have the size advantage over San Diego State. San Diego State is going to have to shoot more threes than UConn to win, but they're going to have to find a way to get some offense inside as well. Josh has got to be in the paint. I completely agree. John also says fast pace, slow it down, San Diego. I think you got to slow it down. I completely agree. You just don't want to, keep things sped up and then you're getting things out of control. And then what do you know? You're down by 10 or 15 points. You just got to stay composed for sure. Jackson says alley-oop, booyah for sure. Man, that was a great pass. I mean, you got to give Joey Calcaterra. He's a bench player, and he gets the ball down low to Klingman for an easy dunk. Really nice play. Gixer Squid, thanks for being here. Says San Diego by 3. That's my call. Regardless, love to see a Cinderella story if we call it that. Yeah, I agree with you, Gixer Squid. A lot of people want to see it. And it would be really cool to see. I think it would be awesome for sure. But it will be tough to get the job done because you're looking at, again, UConn, a deep team. They have the size advantage. They have the talent advantage. But San Diego State, they haven't gotten all this way just to fall flat on their face. I think they're going to give it everything they've got. And like you said, it would be a Cinderella story technically because they're not a Power 16. But as Brian Dutch would like to point out, or I major, he says, for San Diego State. And I agree with him. I think that they really should be technically overall a high major or a Power 16 in people's minds. And they're going to be going to the Pac-12, so I get it. But it will be interesting to see for sure. The Ohio State for the win says, what's up, Only Talk Sports? I picked UConn to win this by 12. Yeah, I mean, you could be right as well. I'm seeing it kind of a lot of people leaning toward UConn blowing it open, winning by double digits. I got it by 5. I think it's going to be close. Gixer Squid, he's going with the upset San Diego State by 3. It's going to be interesting, though, but I hope it's a close game either way. I'm hoping it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the rest of this game. The Ohio State says UConn's length and size starting to affect San Diego State for sure. You can tell. Buckeye Mike said this is interesting so far. UConn really crowding San Diego State and causing bad passes by Aztecs looking great. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. Edward says, yo, Jeffrey, thanks for being here, Edward. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thanks for being here, everybody, for the national championship game. This is going to be a fantastic game. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. It's been high flying so far. But the Aztecs are lucky to be down by 4 because they could be down by a lot more the way they're playing basketball right now. They're really struggling on the offensive end, have not scored in the last 5 minutes, and they're only down 14-10 with 11 to go in the first. But Alex Caravan at the line, and he knocks down the first. So it's 15-10. UConn up by 5. The Ohio State, the San Diego State goes into too many offensive droughts to win this game despite how good their D is. Yeah, that's a good point. They cannot have these droughts because you had the lead. Like San Diego State could have had the momentum that they had early in the game, continue to score, and then potentially find their way to maybe get an 8 to 10 point lead and try to hold on to it. I think that would have been a really good strategy for San Diego State. But they got the lead, and then they just completely gave it away. And now you're down 6. So the Aztecs are going to have to find a way to get some offense going, or they're going to fall behind further and further. And if they get down by more than 12 or 14 points, they're not a team built to come back. Nathan Mensah, he misses the 2. But San Diego State scrapping around, does get the offensive rebound. That's a good play there, but you're going to have to find some offense. And a steal. Joey Calcaterra with the steal. He's going up, and he lays it in, but he misses. And you've got a rebound. Trammell with the ball now for the Aztecs going down the floor. And now he kicks it to Ledee, and now it's a foul. So it's 16-10. Keyshawn Johnson will be shooting free throws for the Aztecs. Edward says, I was hanging with Mike. That's cool, Edward. Thanks for being here. Definitely a lot of people live streaming tonight. You got Mike. You got a lot of other people live streaming tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad all you guys are here watching the live stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. It should be a lot of fun. But Keyshawn Johnson, he's averaging around 7 points per game this season. That's what he's averaging in this tournament, around 6 points per game. But he hits the first to finally stop the drought. San Diego State gets their first point in almost 6 minutes. So that is definitely needed right there for the Aztecs. They cannot have many more scoring droughts of that caliber, or they will not have a chance to win this game. And you've got San Diego State. They score again. Nathan Mensah falls to the deck on that free throw attempt right there. He got knocked down, but he gets back up. It's 16-12 UConn. A lot of physicality early in this game. And Donovan Klingman with 2 fouls. That's actually good news for the Aztecs. They won't be seeing Klingman anymore in this first half. Sanogo, probably be good for the Aztecs to try to get him in foul trouble. But now you've got Tristan Newton. He almost loses the basketball, but he does get it back. He's trying to make a play. Now Sanogo with the ball. Back to Newton. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Newton pulls up, and he misses the shot. But almost an offensive rebound by Sanogo. But San Diego State holds on to it. Seiko, but they call a tip ball there, jump ball. And you've got San Diego State with the possession error, but Seiko's not happy. He felt he had the ball, and it was a foul on UConn. You can make an argument for that. You definitely could make an argument for that, but right now they are going to call it a jump ball right there. So it's 16-12, and San Diego State has the arrow. So 9:51 to go in the first. Adam Seiko, he's going to the bench after working hard. But they're showing the field goals for San Diego State. They started this game 4 for 5 from the field. They're 0 of 9 since with only 2 free throws. That is not a good sign. Now Darian Trammell with the basketball. Tristan Newton guarding him. Nathan Mensah with the ball screen. Now Trammell kicks to Matt Bradley for 3, and Bradley, what a shot by right there. It looked like it was going to go in. It would have been great off that ball screen, but it clanks iron. That was a really nice play by Matt Bradley, but he could not make the shot. It was a good-looking shot, but it was just a little too strong. No field goals in the last 7 minutes. Now UConn pulls up for 2, and they knock it down. 18-12. The Huskies are up by 6 now. The Aztecs desperately need a shot to fall. They need a shot to fall badly. Nathan Mensah with the ball at the top of the key, back to Matt Bradley. He's trying to find some offense, and it's another turnover. Adama Sanogo with the basketball. It's going from bad to worse for San Diego State. They just can't get anything going. Jordan Hawkins with the ball to Sanogo. A 12-0 run for UConn. Make that a 14-0 run. Jordan Hawkins for 2, 20-12 UConn. And I think the Aztecs need a timeout, and I think that's what Brian Dutcher calls right there. Wow. And they're showing back at home for UConn. The crowd is going crazy there in Storrs, Connecticut. But right now, it's a 14-2 run for the Huskies, and it's 20-12 UConn over the Aztecs. And the Aztecs are starting to struggle a little bit in this game. Jackson says, here we go, Aztecs, here we go. It's looking good for them for sure. And Jackson also, right now, the Aztecs are 4-15 in field goals. That's bad. Yeah, they're really struggling. That's not a good sign at all. The Ohio State is in a non-San Diego State versus UConn related note. Did you hear that Oral Roberts star Max Ames is entering the transfer portal? I love watching him play. Any predictions on where he'll end up? I have no idea. The Ohio State, it's way too early to tell, and you never know what teams are going to reach out and what teams Amos will be interested in. But yes, I did see that today, and that's insane. He immediately becomes one of the biggest names in the portal. Everybody knows Max Amos for sure, especially if you follow college basketball to any length. And he is a great player. I think he's, projected as, one of the top 3 transfer portal players by most recruiting services that cover the portal. And I think all the high major programs are going to want him. And I agree that they should, because he's a fantastic player. Obviously, he's really short, and I think he will have some struggles at the Power 6 level, but I think he will be able to have success because he's just a bucket getter. He's a walking bucket, and I think that all the big programs should take a look at him. I have no idea right now where he'll end up, but that is a good question. It will definitely be something to monitor. And whoever gets Max Amos will be getting a gem of a player. Jackson says 14-2 run by UConn for sure. It is definitely not looking good for the Aztecs. They're going to have to find a way to get some points quick. Buckeye Mike says UConn creating separation, showing their dominance. Yes, UConn is a basketball team that is built for almost any team in college basketball. They have the guards to be able to handle, guard-heavy teams. And I think if you look at, their center depth with Sonogo and Klingman, that's key as well, because of the fact that you look at the way that UConn plays. They're good in both areas. So the other team, whoever they're playing, whether they're more of a guard-heavy team or a post-heavy team, UConn can match up with. That makes them so dangerous because they can match up with almost any basketball team. And that's crazy. So it's going to be really interesting to see there with what UConn is able to do in this game. If they're going to continue dominant with the post, they seem to be so far. The guard play, I feel like San Diego State's hanging in there a little bit in the guard play, but they're struggling mightily in the post. They did get Klingman with 2 fouls, so that helps. But overall, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the rest of this game. Can San Diego State hang in there? They're going to have to find a way, because if they get down by too much, they will not be able to come back. But I think that there's still plenty of time in this game, but it will be interesting to see what happens. The Ohio State said the Oral Roberts Sweet 16 run was amazing in 2021. I was devastated when they beat the Buckeyes in 2021, but Oral Roberts was so much fun to watch. Yeah, that was insane. If my memory serves me correct, Ohio State was a 2 seed, and you had Oral Roberts as the 15 seed. And they beat Ohio State. And I watched that game, and it was nuts. It was a crazy game. Ohio State had a good team that year, but Max Amos was just unstoppable. He was hitting all the shots, and then they, won the round of 32 game. So it was crazy. But this year, when Oral Roberts played Duke, they just did not have the same luck. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. I think that overall, with Max Amos, wherever he goes, it will be a big help. But can Oral Roberts stay good? Probably not. It's going to be really interesting, though. But you've got a 2012 UConn lead, 8:30 to go in the first, and you've got a jump shot in the corner for the Aztecs, and they can't get the shot to fall. Their offense is really struggling right now. Matt Bradley couldn't get the jumper to fall. And you've got UConn still up by 8 on a 14-2 run. Sonogo with the basketball. Now you've got Tristan Newton. He's trying to make a move, and he passes to Naheem Aline, and Naheem Aline gets the shot to fall. 22-12, another bucket from UConn, and their lead has grown to 10. And Naheem Aline, the Virginia Tech transfer, he's a forgotten player. He had a lot of success with the Hokies. 0 field goals for San Diego State in the last 8.5. They need a bucket. Where are they going to get it? They just look a little timid on the offensive end as of this point. Nathan Mensah goes up strong. He can't get the shot to fall, and Jordan Hawkins with the rebound. Still up 10 for UConn with a chance to make their lead grow. Jordan Hawkins passes to Tristan Newton. And overall right now, UConn's definitely dominating this game. There's nothing else you can say. They're playing really good. Sonogo with the ball. Back to Tristan Newton. Jordan Hawkins shoots a 3, and he misses. Finally a stop for the Aztecs. Matt Bradley with the ball. He's gone cold. He pulls from 3, and he can't make the shot. But I do think they call a foul on Jordan Hawkins, so Matt Bradley will have 3 free throws. That's a break that the Aztecs desperately needed there. That's huge. That is huge. They'll have 3 free throws outside of the timeout. But thanks for being here, everybody. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But more importantly, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I'm so glad that you guys are here watching the national championship game here. Thanks so much. You guys are awesome. But it's been a great game so far, but the Aztecs will definitely have to pick it up soon if they want to have a chance to win this game. Gixer Squid says San Diego State went into the first half down 7 to Florida Atlantic, 5 to Creighton up on Alabama. Don't let the first half define the entire game. UConn has a history of not matching the first half. Yeah, to your point, I think that the way the Aztecs are built, to your point, they're able to come back because they grind in games. They just keep grinding, and even when they're not having shots fall, they stay with it. Like in the Florida Atlantic game, they were down actually about 14 points in the second half, and they came back and won. But UConn is a much more dominating team than Florida Atlantic. It will be interesting. If San Diego State gets down by too much, Can they find a way to get back in the game? Because I think if they fall behind by too much, they will not have a chance to win. But to your point, they have been down in a lot of these other games as well, so it will be interesting. The Ohio State says, yep, Oral Roberts beat us 75-72, and we were a 2 seed in Final Four threat that year. Yeah, Ohio State was a good basketball team. That's crazy. Oral Roberts won. But yeah, Duke definitely did not let that happen. But then they lost to Tennessee, so there you go. Jackson said, one thing I miss about March Madness, we have to wait. I'll have to wait until next year for more Spike Lee, Samuel L. Jackson, and Charles Barkley commercials. Oh, wait, I can always watch those commercials on YouTube. Yeah, for sure. They're hilarious. I mean, I love the one where they're on the sideline and you've got the referee, being Spike Lee, and then you've got, Samuel Jackson, Barkley, and Magic Johnson on the sideline. And they're like talking about the missed calls that they're doing. And they're like, get out of here. That's funny. That's a great commercial. But all of them are hilarious. Like you said, they're awesome. But we still get to watch them all year on YouTube. But they're great. The Ohio State says Oral Roberts then beat 7-seed Florida. That's who it was in the second round and almost beat 3-seed Arkansas in the Sweet 16. I remember that one. The Sweet 16 one for sure when they almost beat Arkansas. That was a great game, and they were like one shot short. That was a fantastic game. And Oral Roberts, I feel, could have gone all the way if they had been able to keep winning. But to your point, yeah, they were a great team, but they just could not, replicate it this year. Jada says, got to pass more San Diego State for sure and better shots. They're not taking good shots, and they seem to be just overall as a team looking timid, looking a little ragged after their good start. UConn's dominance just seems to be getting to San Diego State, and the Aztecs are kind of, not saying they're panicking, but they just got to settle it down. You're not down by too much. Just try to settle into the game. The Ohio State says this UConn dominant tournament run reminds me of 2009 North Carolina and 2018 Villanova. It's a good point. I mean, they look like one of the most dominating teams we've seen in a long time. And it's ironic, too, because everybody was on the UConn train in the preseason and when they were 14-0 and they were playing great basketball early on. And then UConn had a slide throughout the Big East, conference play at the beginning of the Big East. They were really struggling. They were losing games. They lost like 6 of 8, 7 of 9 games, something like that. And everyone was off the UConn train. They almost fell out of the top 25. But then after that, they got things together again. And they started playing great basketball. So now everybody's back on the UConn train and have been all tournaments. So it's wild how in basketball, the swings just go up and down throughout the season on teams where, you don't know whether they're really good or not. But UConn peaked at the right time. They're playing great. But Matt Bradley, he hits the first free throw. So the Aztecs have cut it to 9. But they haven't hit a field goal in 9 minutes. That's almost as long as UCLA's field goal drive against Gonzaga, where they didn't have a field goal in like 10 minutes. The Aztecs have not hit a field goal in 9 minutes, but they're only hanging in there by the free throw line and the fact that UConn just has not been able to push it out too much so far. But UConn, they're playing great, but they're still only up by 9. So the Aztecs have a chance to come back, but Matt Bradley does miss the second free throw. Got to make your free throws when you have them. Got to make them count. But he's going to have one more free throw to try to cut this to 8, and he does knock it down. So 22-14, 7:20 to go in the first half. Steve Fisher, he looks a little concerned on the sidelines for San Diego State, obviously wanting his former team that he coached for 25 years to win. But UConn playing great basketball, down to Sonogo on the block, and a foul on Nathan Mensah. He did everything he could not to foul on that play, but he did. It is what it is. For the Aztecs, are just struggling to slow down Sonogo at this point. He got the ball down too deep. Sonogo got great post position, and he went up strong on the other side, and yeah, Mensah fouled him on the arm. If he hadn't done that, he would have not gotten the foul. And potentially, Sonogo could have missed that shot. But he goes to the line now. He's got 6 points and 3 rebounds, and he hasn't missed a shot yet. So let's see if Sonogo can kick UConn's lead back up to 10. And he shoots the first. And he knocks it down. So 23-14 UConn, 7:07 to go in the first half, and Sonogo will have another free throw. San Diego State's offense is just completely falling apart. They have not hit a field goal in almost 10 minutes of game action. Still only down by 9. After Sonogo does miss the second. So you've got the Aztecs with the basketball, down by 9. Have not hit a field goal, and it feels like forever. But they're still technically in this ball game, only down 3 possessions. Can the Aztecs get something figured out? Nathan Mensah with the basketball. He swings it over to Lamont Butler. Now it's down to Mensah again on the right block on Caravan. He tried to pass it down low to Jaden Ledee. That was not a good pass. Definitely an overpass there. Now you've got Jordan Hawkins with the basketball. He shoots the three, and he knocks it down. 26-14 UConn over San Diego State. 6:30 to go in the first. And that's not a good sign for San Diego State. That is not a good sign. They're down by 12. Still have not hit a field goal. Where's the offense going to come from for the Aztecs? They just can't get anything going. Now you've got a three in the corner, and still the Aztecs can't knock it down. Nathan Mensah does get the offensive rebound, and it's not going to matter. I think they did call a foul, though. They did call a foul on UConn. So I think the Aztecs will be shooting some free throws. But, yeah, that was a pure shot by Jordan Hawkins. Donovan Kleeman, who's got 2 fouls on the sideline, he's loving the action from UConn right now. 26-14 Huskies, 6 to go in the first. But right now, it's not looking good if you're an Aztecs fan. Can't get anything going. Micah Parrish, he missed a 3 on the left block. And Nathan Mensah, he got the offensive rebound. He does get fouled, but he has no points so far in this game and 3 rebounds. Mensah with the first free throw, he does knock it down. So he gets on the board, and he cuts the lead down to 11, 26-15. 6:08 to go in the first. And Mensah will have another free throw. Mensah's a great player, but you just really felt that he was going to have some issues in this game with Sanogo and Klingman, and he has so far. He's not dealing with the pressure at a high level. He's trying, but he just can't get it done, and he misses the second. Sanogo tried to get the rebound, and he does not get the rebound, but it does go off San Diego State. So his mission is accomplished, and UConn will have the basketball up 11. Still the Aztecs looking for a point. It's not from the foul line. They have not scored a field goal in over 10 minutes. Eventually, you're not going to have a chance in this game if you don't hit a field goal. They got to make a shot. And the Aztecs have so many good players, but again, it just seems like UConn's length and physicality and dominance is really giving them fits right now. But right now, you've got UConn up 11, and Alex Karaban shoots a deep 3. He almost gets it to fall, but it rolls in and out. And now bodies are colliding on the deck, and it's off San Diego State. Sanogo, Ledee, and A-Rope all falling to the deck trying to get that rebound. Look at the bodies colliding. The effort's there from San Diego State, but they just can't make a shot to save their life. Man, there's 3 guys all with the basketball. But now UConn to inbound. Andre Jackson to Alex Karaban. Karaban's the one that just missed that 3, almost hit it. And Sanogo misses down low. And finally, San Diego State gets a stop. Matt Bradley's driving down the floor. He kicks in the corner to Seiko, and he can't hit the 3. And A-Rope trying to get the rebound, and the ball is off of UConn. So San Diego State does catch a break there. They catch a break, and Alex Karaban loses his shoes, so he's trying to put it on right now before they inbound the basketball, but they still cannot make a shot. San Diego State without a field goal in over 10 minutes, 5:32 to go in the first half, and the Aztecs are lucky to only be down 11. Jaden Ledee with the basketball at the top of the key. He swings it over, a floater for San Diego State in the middle, and Darian Trammell with the floater, 26-17, and that breaks the 10-minute field goal drought. Finally, San Diego State with a bucket, down by 9, 5:10 to go in the first. Sanogo with the ball to Tristan Newton. Tristan Newton's trying to drive in. He goes up strong, and he lays it in. Nice play there, kind of a floater. 28-17, UConn up by 11, 4:50 to go in the first. And now San Diego State's pushing it down the floor again. But a turnover. The ball went to Tristan Newton, wrong team that he passed to. Tristan Newton lays it in, 30-17. And just like that, UConn's up by 13 now. The Aztecs are still struggling on the offensive end. They can't get anything going right now, and now they're having a hard time stopping UConn. Lamont Butler passes to Jaden Ledee. Now it's over to Trammell. Trammell to Ledee, and it's almost another turnover for San Diego State, but the ball is off of Sanogo. But yeah, this is not sustainable right now. If you're an Aztecs fan, this is not looking good. This is not sustainable. UConn's starting to run the floor, starting to get some easy buckets, and San Diego State's struggling to get any points right now. They're down by 13, and it could be a lot worse, but it's going to get a lot worse if they can't hang around in this game. Adam Seiko, he kicks to Trammell. Trammell for 3, and he misses the shot. and Andre Jackson with the rebound. San Diego State can't hit a three like they were so far this tournament. Tristan Newton for three, and he knocks it down. 33-17 UConn. The Huskies are up by 16, 4 to go in the first half. Brian Dutcher needs a timeout, but he's already used one. He doesn't want to use another one, but it's gone from bad to ugly for San Diego State. They're down by 16, 3:50 to go. And finally, the Aztecs hit a three. Lamont Butler, 33-20. That's a huge shot for San Diego State. Big shot by Lamont Butler. He has ice in his veins. He hit the big shot against Florida Atlantic, and he hit a big shot there, down by 16. So he has a short memory, but San Diego State definitely needs more shots like that to go down. Calcaterra with the ball steal. San Diego State driving the floor. Trammell with the layup, and he misses the layup. Trammell with the great steal, and he misses the layup. That would have cut the lead down to 11. Calcaterra for three, and he knocks it down. That's a 5-point swing. You've got Trammell missing a layup, and now UConn hits another three, and still no timeout from Brian Dutcher. Seiko, he thought about the three. He's trying to drive, but he swings it back out to Butler. Almost a turnover, and it is a turnover. UConn basketball, Calcaterra down to Sonogo. And the ball is off of Sonogo. So San Diego State basketball, but it's 36-20, 2:55 to go in the first. And right now, the Aztecs are in a heap of trouble. Jada says, teams you pass win. I completely agree. He also says, wish I could give you more likes. Thanks for the compliment, man. Thanks for being here as well. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much. But thanks for liking the stream. Sorgy Story says, hey, Jeffrey, thanks for being here. Sorgy Stories, you're awesome as well. Thanks for being here. Jackson said, Ohio State for the win. I agree, especially with all the wins on double digits. Yeah, UConn's been dominant. Sorgy Story says as well, Big East is tough, and it will continue to be. Marquette, Creighton, and UConn all return most players. Yeah, I think that the Big East next year will be one of the top leagues again, specifically those three teams for sure. Providence had a really good chance to be great again as well, but losing Ed Cooley, that's tough. But we don't know how they're going to be. Will Villanova get better? It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Big East shakes out next season. Sorgy Story says, I expect a low-scoring defensive game. I see UConn winning, though. They're just the better overall team. I agree with you, Sorgy Stories, and you're seeing it so far in this game. UConn is the more dominant team. UConn is just working San Diego State on both ends of the floor. The Aztecs, everything that they're doing is hard. They're struggling to do anything. UConn, it's coming easier to them. The shots are going in, and they're getting easier layups. San Diego State is struggling, and they're kind of panicking a bit at times as well, and that's really what's having them struggle in this game and while they're down. Jonas is going lights out. Jeff, thank you. Sorgy Story says Brian Dutcher needs to call a timeout. He needed a timeout a long time ago, but he didn't want to call it because of the fact, looking at you want to keep your timeouts for the second half. You don't want to use them in the first. It's okay to use it or lose it because you're going to lose it. But you don't want to use another one. That's why he didn't. But unfortunately, now they're down by so much he had to. Jackson says to Sorgy Stories agree, especially with Rick Pitino as well, becoming the new head coach at St. John's. The Big East is going to be scary in 2023-24. That's going to be interesting. Rick Pitino at St. John's is key. Like, he could really get St. John's turned around and get them to be the program that they used to be back in the 80s and 90s with Lou Carson-esque. It's possible. I mean, we don't know how long Rick Pitino is going to have it coaching, but he can really turn St. John's around quick. It will be interesting to see. Sorgy Story says to Jackson, yeah, I see all the top team, at least 2, if not 3 or 4 conference losses. Yeah, it's going to be a great conference next year. Josh is getting wild, Jeffrey. Thanks so much, Jada. And yes, this game is getting wild. It's not looking good for the Aztecs in any way, shape, or form right now. Sorgy Story says 11 minutes and 5 seconds without a field goal, and they finally hit one. And you can't have a drought like that in a game, especially the national championship game. If you want to win a game of this caliber, you've got to do everything you possibly can not to have droughts like, UCLA did against Gonzaga, and now this drought in this game here for San Diego State against UConn. You can't go 11 minutes without a field goal. It can't happen. There's just no way. And UConn's not going to go 11 minutes without a field goal more than likely, so you're not going to be able to match that up. Gixer Squid says UConn may end up in foul trouble at this point, maybe, but if you look at UConn, if they don't get in foul trouble, San Diego State's not going to have a shot. Chada's already saying game's over. Wow. It's not over until it's over for sure, but to your point, it's not looking good, so I feel you. Jack said to Sorgy Story, yeah, so far the Aztecs are a disaster tonight. Not looking good. And Jackson also said game's not over yet. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Completely agree. Love Jackson's phrase there. I agree with you. I don't think it's over by a long shot, but it's not looking good at all. Sorgy Story says San Diego State's offense needs to move quicker. If they don't move the ball right, UConn is going to get stops. Yeah, it looks like San Diego State's just dragging their feet. Again, they look timid. That's my word of the night so far for them. They just look timid. They don't they feel like they can compete with UConn the way the Huskies are playing. And Matt Bradley, he just missed another layup. And now UConn ball up 16, 2:30 to go in the first. And the Huskies are right where they want to be in this game, up big, and they want to keep it. Andre Jackson driving in. He kicks to Caravan. Out to Naheem Aline, and Aline's three is short. So the Aztecs with the rebound. Trying to run down the floor. Keyshawn Johnson's driving in. And do they call a foul? They do on Aline. So they call a blocking foul on Aline. It looked like Keyshawn Johnson could have been called for an offensive foul, but they don't call it. That was close. It could have gone either way. Could have gone either way right there. But they do give the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player, and Lamont Butler will be inbounding the basketball for San Diego State down 16 with 2:19 to go in the first. If you're San Diego State, you want to get this to around 9 or 10 before the half. But I don't know if they can. Adam Seiko, he got the ball from the inbounds pass, and he got blocked from behind. UConn still up 16, 2 to go in the first. Andre Jackson down low to Caravan. He gets blocked from behind. He gets the ball back and another block. San Diego State ball running the floor. Keyshawn Johnson tried to drive inside, but again, UConn's recovering on defense really well in this game, not allowing the Aztecs to get in transition. And another steal. You cannot pass the ball down low on a pick and roll with Donovan Klingman right there. Terrible pass by the Aztecs. And Donovan Klingman down in Naheem Aline, and his layup goes in and out. About the only thing that's gone wrong for UConn so far in this first. Now Seiko with the ball, and he misses a three. And another rebound for UConn. The length of the Huskies is really hurting the Aztecs on the glass. And now Alex Caravan, I think he did step on the out-of-bounds line potentially. So it looks like San Diego State is getting the ball back, but still 36, 21, 29 to go in the first. And right now, if San Diego State needs to take advantage of these couple of miscues by UConn, but they're not right now. They're still struggling to score. They can't get anything going on the offensive end. Having a really hard time doing much of anything at all. And their defense has been solid at times, but UConn still has 36 points before the half, which is not where San Diego State wanted UConn to be, I'm sure. And definitely UConn's happy to have San Diego State at 20 points. Matt Bradley in the corner to Trammell. Trammell being smothered by Tristan Newton. Now to Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson at the top of the key takes a mid-range two. He knocks it down. Big shot. 36-22. Aztecs down by 14. If they can get a couple more scores in before half, get to around 10 at the half, that could maybe salvage this first half a bit for San Diego State. But now Dan Hurley, he calls his use it or lose it timeout. 55 seconds left in the first half. Huskies up by 14. Jada says, again, hit that like button. Thanks to you so much, Jada, for that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new as well. But again, I appreciate all you guys being here tonight. You guys are awesome. Sorgy Story says shot selection is key too. I completely agree. And I don't think the Aztec shot selection has been that good. They have been struggling a bit. Jackson Johnson's boom three-pointer. It's a 33-17 UConn lead. And then a three-pointer for San Diego State. Cut it there, but still struggling. Sorgy Story says great turnover, but you got to finish the fundamentals. Yeah, you can't miss that layup. That was a busted play right there for San Diego State. Trammell gets the steal, misses the layup. Got to make that shot, especially when you're down by this much. Obviously, he did slow down a bit, so it kind of allowed UConn to recover, and then he had a little bit of pressure on. I think that's what forced the miss. But if he had to run down the floor quicker, I think he could have got that shot up and in, and he wouldn't have had the defense on him. But yeah, that was a mistake by Trammell. He should have just laid it up quicker. But I think he was trying to see who was behind him, and that's what caught him in that trap. But UConn up 36-22 over San Diego State. 55 seconds to go in the first half. And San Diego State needs to stop and another score to kind of help themselves going into the half. But Tristan Newton with the ball. And he kicks over to Alex Caravan. He tried to get it to Sonogo, and there's a steal. Exactly what San Diego State needed right there. Down 14. 40 seconds to go in the first. And they've stopped UConn a little bit at the end of this first half, and another score for the Aztecs. Big shot there, cut it to 12. Getting it kind of where they need it to maybe have a chance in the second half, potentially. Tristan Newton with the basketball, 25 seconds left in the first. He's being hounded. Now you've got Andre Jackson with the basketball with Matt Bradley on him. If San Diego State can get another stop, that would be huge. Now you've got Newton with the ball again. And Trammell just fell right in front of him, but you got Newton not doing it. It's almost like he was baiting him, trying to drive in. Newton goes up strong. He misses the shot. Sonogo gets his own miss, and he misses again. And now it is another miss, and we've got a halftime score. San Diego State did not have another chance to score again, and it's 36-24 at the half. So San Diego State had an awful first half, but still only down by 12. Not too bad. But it will be interesting. Can they make a run in the second to get back in the game? Jackson says, boom, 3-pointers, a 36-20 UConn lead for sure. They were on a big run there. Huge run. Buckeye Mike says, we have got quite a game for it being a 16-point lead by the Huskies. Yeah, I mean, it's the national championship game. I mean, it's still a great game, even if it's not. It's memorable, and the result really matters in the history books, even if it's not close. But hopefully the game gets closer at the end. Buckeye Mike says, hit the like button. Thank you, Buckeye Mike. Sorgy Story says, San Diego State doesn't look comfortable. UConn does, but to be fair, the Huskies have played Marquette. They know what a good defense looks like. To your point, Sorgy Stories, that's kind of like the point I've been saying with San Diego State. They look timid. San Diego State has looked timid and a bit scared this game. I'm not saying they are, but the way they're playing, they're just a little step slow. UConn is just out there playing. They're just balling out. They struggled a bit at the end of that first half, had a couple turnovers. San Diego State started to regain their footing a bit. But I do think that overall, UConn play like the more confident team. They look way more dominant in that first half, and San Diego State had some struggles. Jada says, San Diego State lucky they're not down 20, and I completely agree with you there. That's a great point. I think that looking at San Diego State, they could be down by a lot more. So to your point, it's not too bad to be only down 12. Not too bad. Jackson says, love that Nissan baller and blitz commercial. Man, UConn's having a baller and blitz with San Diego State. Well, a lot of people expected UConn to dominate. Some people were predicting a 15-point win by UConn in this game. And the way they're playing right now, that could be the case. So, I mean, I definitely see why people were picking a blowout. I just kind of felt, San Diego State's defense might rattle them a bit. But to Sorgy Story's point, UConn's been through the pressure and gills of the Big East this season. They know what it takes to deal with a tough defense. So I completely agree with him there. But overall, looking at UConn, they're just a team that's seen it all. They're a deep team. They're a tall team, and I think they overpower San Diego State in almost every position. That's what's causing the Aztecs to struggle. And again, they just look a little slow. So it's really interesting. So Orgy Story says, bad turnover by Caravan. He looks nervous. He hasn't had a good game so far. He's kind of like the one player for UConn that just doesn't seem locked in. The others do. They seem to be in complete control, but he does seem a bit, timid a little bit. He's kind of like the only player for UConn that's in that situation. San Diego State looks like almost the entire team. Jada says San Diego on the move. Yeah, they started to cut it a little bit. It's interesting. Jeff says great coverage. The Aztecs are close to being done. Yeah, I would say so, but that small run they had before the half was huge. That was absolutely needed for them to have any chance in the second half. I mean, being down 12 against UConn, a dominant team that's had a lot of success this tournament, is not ideal. But if they were down by 18, then I would say that it's a lot worse. Only being down 12 gives you the hope that for if you're an Aztecs fan or for this to be a close game, that somehow San Diego State can get back in it. Sorgy Story says, all right, I'm out. Have a great night, folks. Thanks for being here, Sorgy Stories. Obviously got to get some Z's. I get it, but thanks for being here. You're awesome, man. Hope to see you back soon, but thanks for being here. Jackson says, here's a halftime question. Where does Hunter Dickinson transfer to? Good question. I think if you look at Hunter Dickinson, you got to go to a team that needs a big. And I think if you look at all the teams that are open right now that have been in contact with him, I don't know if he's going to go all the way out west, but Gonzaga is a perfect spot for Dickinson. Why? Because Drew Timme's gone. I think that'll be a perfect spot. Everybody's mentioning Kentucky, North Carolina, and I get it. Hunter Dickinson, one of the best players in the portal. Totally makes sense to go to a blue blood, but Kentucky doesn't need center help. North Carolina doesn't need center help. They've got Baycott at Carolina, and Kentucky still got the Oscar Tshiebwe problem, and they got 2 5-star centers coming in. Neither team needs Dickinson right now. So I don't know. It's interesting there, but I do think overall that Dickinson, if his best move would be to go to a team that needs a center. Jackson Johnson does Dickinson go to Carolina. Again, like you said, I completely get it, why you would go because it's a blue blood program, but still, they've got Armando Baycott. They don't need Hunter Dickinson. He's not going to be able to, I don't think, be on the floor with Baycott at the same time. So, I mean, like a program like Indiana that needs center help right now would be a perfect addition, but he probably won't go to Indiana. I've seen Maryland as a possibility. Some people have talked about Maryland. I think Gonzaga would be a great fit, but who knows what he's going to do. It's going to be interesting, though. The Ohio State for the win. Says, remember last year's title game, Kansas was down 15 against UNC, came back and won. But, of course, these are two completely different teams. UConn is just so good. Yeah, that's a great point, the Ohio State. A lot of people thought Carolina had in the bag. They were up, by a large amount, to your point. And then Kansas came back. Remy Mark started making shots. The most unlikely is got to do that off the bench. Obviously, Remy Mark played great at Arizona State, but he was incredible in that game. And I think that, to your point, it just goes to show you it's never over till it's over. San Diego State can still come back. But like you said, two different teams, so it's really interesting there. Jada says maybe UConn will pull a Michigan, Wisconsin, Sister Jean game, San Diego State wins. Yeah, Sister Jean's awesome. I mean, I'm glad she's still, hanging around. She's awesome. She's 103 years old. I hope she can be 110, 115 years old. Sister Jean is awesome, and it was awesome seeing her at the Loyola Chicago games. It stinks Loyola Chicago is not having success anymore. The A-10 move was tough, and then losing Porter Moser to Oklahoma. Drew Valentine, he's trying, but just not having a lot of success. But I think that overall, just looking at what, Sister Jean is, as a icon is awesome. But to your point, if UConn, will pull Michigan, Wisconsin, that game was insane. So I think San Diego State can come back. We've seen so much basketball in the past. You never know what's going to happen. The Ohio State for the win says UConn learned a lot from the difficulties of the last few seasons and losing in the round of 64 the last two seasons. Sonogo said the team learned so much from the last season in the first round. So, yeah, sometimes when you've had past experiences, it can really help you out in the future. And I think that, you look at someone like Rick Barnes at Tennessee, that's what's so mind-boggling about the Volunteers. They got so much talent every year, and they just cannot find a way to get over the hump. They keep losing early in the tournament. They're not having success. I think that's what's really interesting there. So just looking at, the way UConn is responding, to the fact that they lost early in the tournament the last couple of years, that's huge. And you would like to see Tennessee do that finally, and they can. It's just you got to be able to shake the ills of the past and find a way to say, hey, we, have lost in the past early. We shouldn't have lost early. We have a better team than this. And UConn's done it. I think that speaks volumes to Dan Hurley as a coach. And I think that speaks volumes to the team as a whole and at large. And a lot of these players, they believe and they want to have success. That's a really good sign for UConn in the future as well. I don't think that this is going to be the last time they have a chance to go this far. As long as Dan Hurley's the coach, as long as he can continue to recruit. And he's starting to get some five-star players going to UConn, so they could be dangerous again for years to come. Jackson says, here's another good spot for Dickinson St. John's. That's a good spot. Rick Pitino, he's a Hall of Famer. Despite the stuff that happened at Louisville, despite everything in the past, you still got to completely admit Rick Pitino is one of the best. He is a fantastic head basketball coach. And Dickinson going there would be a perfect addition as well because of the fact they need a center. It would be a perfect spot for him, and I think that he would do a really good job, coaching him up and maybe getting him to improve in some areas where eventually Hunter Dickinson could be a pro. I think Hunter Dickinson is a great player. The one problem with Hunter Dickinson is that he's not the quickest. And in the NBA today, you need to be quick. Because if you're not quick, you're going to get destroyed out there. So I think that's why Hunter Dickinson's still in college. Plus, NIL is huge. So I think NIL is really helping, with players coming back. But I think that overall, it's going to be interesting to see what happens for sure. Nana, thanks for being here, doing a great job. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, everyone, for being here. But particularly, Nana, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for the compliment as well. It means a lot. Jackson Johnson's Sister Jean rules, for sure. I mean, it's an awesome story there. And it would be really cool to see Loyola Chicago make a run again. Val's the GOAT. Thanks for being here as well. He says, do you think San Diego State can pull off the comeback? If I had to guess right now, I would say no. I don't think that they will, but you never know. You can't count it out. I mean, if you count it out, then that's just obviously foolish thinking because we've seen so many basketball games where the team's like, oh, it's over. There's no chance. They're not going to come back. So I think that to your point, San Diego State can come back, but if I had to pick or guess, I would say probably not. The Ohio State for the win says, could you see Max Amos go to Kansas State? Kansas State had a ton of players from the transfer portal on their team this season. They had their star being a small player like Noel this season. Amos's game is somewhat similar to Noel's. That is a great point, the Ohio State. I think looking at Max Amos and Marquise Noel, very similar players. They're both really short. I do think the one thing about Amos that will be interesting is that Noel, he was such a facilitator for Kansas State. Max Amos can pass the ball, but he's such, a ball-dominant player because he's been on teams that have not had a lot of stars around him outside of O'Banner that ended up transferring to Texas Tech. So I do think that, Jerome Tang will have to work with Amos on passing more, getting the ball to his teammates, being more of a team player instead of having to score 25 points to win a game every time. And I think that's what Marquise Noel did such a good job of. As you look at a player like Tristan Newton for UConn, he only averages 10 points, but he has 7-8 assists a game, 6-7 rebounds. When he's passing, he's more important at UConn than when he's scoring. So I do think that Amos will have to improve as a passer. Well, he'll have to get his teammates more involved for him to have success anywhere, even if it's at Kansas State, because he's not going to be able to put up 25, 30 points in the Power 6 and win. He's going to struggle mightily in that regard. I think he can still put up a lot of points, but he's going to have to get his teammates involved. The Ohio State says, yeah, good point. I'm just eager to see where Amos will end up. Me too. I kind of hope he does go to Kansas State as well, because to your point, I think he would have more success there based on the fact that Marquise Noel already had success there. And when you have a coach that has had proven success with a similar type player as you, I think that really bodes well, for future players to have that same level of success. I mean, it's like you look at a team like Indiana. You had Jalen Hood-Schifino at 6'5", 6'6", point guard role that he had when Xavier Johnson got hurt. And he was able to go off the pick and rolls, hit the jump shots, and he was able to get the ball down low to Trace Jackson Davis. Now he's going to be a first-round pick because of it. Mike Woodson can use that and say, hey, we can bring in other, taller guards, 6'5" guards that can do the same. You can go to the NBA. I think that you have to get similar players to what you've done in the past. You don't want to be repetitive. You don't want to keep doing the same thing, same type players. Sometimes mixing up's good. But to your point with Noel and Amos being similar, I think would be a perfect fit, with, Kansas State and Jerome Tang. Jada says Hunter's going to Michigan State. That's funny. I don't know if you're meaning that or if it's a joke, but that would be hilarious. Like, you're going to go from Michigan to Michigan State. Like, there was an April Fool's joke where Caleb Love was supposed to be going from North Carolina to Duke. And I was like, people were buying it. It was like, oh, Caleb Love's going to Duke. He can't stand Carolina so much, he's going to Duke. That was not happening. I was like, that's not happening. He's not going to Duke. If Caleb Love's going anywhere, he's going to Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri, Indiana. Those are the schools he's looking at, Midwest. He's from Missouri, so it makes sense to go to Missouri or Indiana or Kansas, not going to Duke. He's not going to Duke. But it was a funny April Fool's joke that some people bought, so for sure. But it's interesting. Dallas the Ghost says, Malachi Flynn, the best San Diego State player of all time. Yeah, I think, like, if you're talking about college, yeah, you can make an argument Malachi Flynn might have been the best San Diego State player of all time. If you're talking about NBA, it's Kawhi Leonard. So that depends on if you're talking about in college or in the pros. If it's in college, I would go Malachi Flynn. If it's in the pros, Kawhi Leonard. The Ohio State says, was Malachi Flynn better than Kawhi Leonard at San Diego State? I think, yeah, you're talking about in college. I mean, even in college, Kawhi Leonard was great. So it's kind of debatable. You can go really either way. I think it hurt Malachi Flynn. He didn't get that tournament run in 2020. Kawhi Leonard got that tournament run. So that's an interesting point there. They're both great Aztecs, though. Jadis is a true Raptor, for sure. And Jadis is Malachi Flynn. Yeah, again, both are great. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, obviously, is just the name, Kawhi Leonard, the star that he is in the NBA. He's huge, coming from San Diego State. Malachi Flynn obviously doesn't have that appeal in the NBA, or like that brand, power to say, hey, Malachi Flynn, he's killing it in the NBA. But that's exactly what Kawhi Leonard's done. But Malachi Flynn was great in an Aztecs uniform. They're both fantastic, especially when you have these smaller schools that don't have as many stars, that you can list them on one hand, like the amount of stars. Then I think that overall it's really interesting. John says April Fool's joke would love it. Yeah, I mean, April Fool's is funny. Like, it was insane when Roy Williams retired on April Fool's Day, and he was like, everybody's like, oh, it's an April Fool's joke. And he's like, it's not an April Fool's joke. I know I'm doing it on April Fool's Day, but I'm actually retiring. That was nuts. Like, that's the only time I've ever seen something where I thought it was an April Fool's Day joke, that he actually was retiring on that day. But everything else is usually a joke. Gixer Squid says, I just realized something. Is this officially the most geographically distant miles between Kansas final matchup ever? That is a great point. I think that is possible. And the Ohio State does confirm it. He said, Gixer Squid, it is. I saw an article and stat about it. Yeah. I mean, you think about it. UConn, Storrs, Connecticut. And then you've got San Diego State, San Diego, California. That is a lot of miles. Definitely a lot of miles. So many miles between the two. So that's cool. That is really cool. Clint Moses here. Thanks for being here. Clint says go Beavs for sure. Again, I say it every time. Really like to see the Beavs back in the tournament soon. But still, it's awesome. That you're here. Thanks for being here. They'll get back eventually. You always got to believe the team will make a run eventually. Josh says both were Raptors. Yeah, I remember that. Malcolm Flynn was the Raptors. Kawhi Leonard too. I mean, it stinks Kawhi Leonard was only there for a year, but he won a ring. Got a ring for the Raptors while he was there the 1 year. And that one shot he hit in that one series game was insane. Hit the rim like 10 times and went in. That was insane. But yeah, I mean, it's both players were awesome for the Raptors and for San Diego State. But I do think this second half is going to be really interesting because right now San Diego State's down 12. They're going to have to do a lot in this second half to have a chance. They cannot just go in the second half and try and do what they did in the first half. What they did in the first half didn't work. Really just bottle up the first 10 minutes, of the first, especially the first 5. They were playing well in the first 5 minutes. Just bottle that up and do that and do even more in the second half to get back in the game and win. But you cannot do what you did in the last 10 to 12 minutes. No chance. If you do that, then UConn's going to win by 20. But thanks, everyone, for being here. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thanks for being here, everybody. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate it so much. The Ohio State for the wins. This interesting fact is UConn and San Diego State play in the Sweet 16 in 2011, and UConn won that game on their way to the title in 2011. Kawhi Leonard losing to UConn was his last college basketball game. Yeah, that is really interesting. I mean, I was like 6 or 7 years old when that happened. So, I mean, overall, it's crazy to think about these matchups today and look at past matchups between iconic players and iconic, years of tournaments and just say, hey, wow, you think about Kawhi Leonard losing to UConn. A lot of people said San Diego State should have won. I mean, I barely remember that game, but it is interesting for sure. Jackson says, I hope Kawhi gets a ring for the Clippers. He could. I mean, I think right now the way the team's constructed, it's going to be difficult, but you never know. It's possible. Josh said, Jeff, did you like Clayton Custer? Well, I mean, from what I remember in 2018, Clayton Custer just played really hard. I don't know if particularly people liked him or not, but he played really hard. I mean, that guy, the whole team did. I mean, they made the Final Four because they just played fundamental hard basketball like Florida Atlantic did, and they went on a run. It was incredible. Jackson Johnson, San Antonio 2004, Houston 2011, Arlington 2014, Houston 2023. To UConn, Texas, Final Fours have something in common. That's interesting right there. Val's the GOAT says San Diego State is making a run through the end of the half. Yeah, they were, and I think they can continue to do that in the second half. They'll have a chance, but still, that first 5 minutes was the best. They played great the first 5 minutes. They were up 10-6. So they need to do what they did in the first 5 minutes of the game and try to do that in the second half. And I think they can. I think the Aztecs have the team capable. And like a lot of people pointed out, they've been down a lot in this tournament. They've come back and won. So they have that when we're down mentality, we're not out. But UConn is just such a dominant team. It's going to be much more difficult for them to do that against the Huskies, but it will be interesting. The Ohio State for the win says, yep, Jackson Johnson, you're right. Big East does really well in Final Fours in Texas. Villanova won in 2016, Houston in 2018, and San Antonio. Yeah, I just think the Big East overall has had a lot of success. I mean, I don't know if it's particularly due to locations. You guys make a great point and a great argument. It definitely is interesting. But I will say overall that the Big East is just a great conference. They have a lot of success, and that's just shows they're a true basketball conference. They have to be good in basketball because they don't have a football conference anymore. It's hilarious, or they barely do, whatever. They just don't. Gigs for Squids to San Diego State reminds me of the student that waits in the day on a submitted paper, works under urgency and pressure better, I guess. Yeah, that is funny, Gigs for Squid, but they're definitely going to have to, pull up the pressure, San Diego State quick. Like, we're down. We got to get back in the game now. They're going to have to do it stat because if they don't, they'll get down by too much and they won't have a chance. Josh says, what did you think of the hand movement from LSU to Caitlin Clark? Yeah, everyone's talking about that. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you just wish there was more sportsmanship sometimes. I mean, sometimes I think stuff's overblown, but yeah, it's not good, but it is what it is. I don't know. It's just one of those things where sportsmanship, you lose, you just got to take it in stride. It's a tough situation. And when you win, not be too, or like too cocky about it. Just, be polite and respectful to the losing team. Just both ways. Just respect both ways. Just do a little bit better job. The Ohio State for the win says only non-Big East team that has won a Final Four in the state of Texas in 2000 was Kansas in 08 winning against San Antonio. Yeah, and they're a Big 12 team, so still got big in it. But to your point, yeah, the Big East has had a lot of success in these regions. I agree with you. I mean, it is interesting for sure. Val's the Ghost said, this reminds me of the last game. Yeah, it does. I mean, you are right, but a lot of people are pointing out that it was Ford Atlantic. Nothing against Ford Atlantic. They were a great team, but it just seems like it would be easier to come back on a Ford Atlantic than a UConn. And that's where it felt like San Diego State needed to be winning this game at all times and try to keep the lead, not fall behind like they have. The Ohio State for the win says it's crazy that Caitlin Clark still isn't WNBA eligible and will be back in college basketball again next season. Yeah, women's basketball is a lot different than men's basketball because it's like you look at men's basketball and you got these one and dones and all these players, you see them 1 year and they're gone. You never see them again unless you watch the NBA. And then you've got women's NBA, women's college basketball with the women's NBA and all that stuff. These players are staying 3 or 4 years. And you're like, wait a minute, this player's great. How are they still in college? I mean, it's really interesting. I think part of it's due to the fact that there's only 12 women's NBA teams, which I think they're wanting to expand that. If they can get enough support, maybe they'll add some more teams. But yeah, there's just too many great women's players. There's not enough teams. It's definitely a conflict of interest. But yeah, it's crazy. If college basketball had players like Zion Williamson staying 4 years or, John Morant, it would be insane. It would just completely be insane. Connor Johnson says, come on, Tex, let's make a comeback. Yeah, Connor Johnson going for the Out West spirit. Pac-12 guy for sure. Mountain West, definitely. Got to stick together. But yeah, I think that you look at San Diego State, I don't think they're out of the game. I don't want to believe they're out of the game. It would be really cool to see them come back and then this game go down to the wire. Best team wins. But yeah, the first 5 minutes of the second half is going to be the most important. UConn, if they pull this out to 20 points early on in the second half, then I think that San Diego State's chances are about done. Because it'll be like the Miami game. Yes, Miami did make a run to cut it to 8, but they never got closer than that. They never got closer than 8, and then UConn blew it open again. And that's where San Diego State can't let that happen. Miami allowed UConn to get up by 20. San Diego State cannot let UConn get up by 20. They have to cut this below 10, try to creep back in the game, hang with UConn, and then they'll have a chance. The Ohio State just said first 5 minutes of the second half is going to be very important for San Diego State. You read my mind, only talk sport. That's funny. That's funny. I mean, oh man, Connor Johnson says, whoa, literally you wrote that as Jeffrey was saying it. That's funny. I mean, overall, it's completely true, though. The Ohio State's right. I'm just, for sure. You got to come back in the beginning of the second. You cannot let UConn get ahead by too much, or it will be over. The Ohio State with Jackson's comedy said, well, on the bright side, she still has a shot at the national title next year. Maybe she can replace Brian Ferentz at the OC. That's funny. I mean, obviously, wrong sport, but to your point, Jackson, she's great at offense. Maybe it could help. Jada said she scored 191 points, amazing 60 assists. Crazy. That's insane. Val's the GOAT. He says, I remember that magical Gonzaga undefeated team that ended up getting, beat in the final. Yeah, that was insane. I think overall you look at that game. I thought Gonzaga was going to beat Baylor. They were playing great basketball, and then they just tanked. They just completely fell apart. That's insane. Connor Johnson says, has crime face emoji, Jack. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, right now, Iowa football needs all the help they can get. Connor Johnson, that's a real knee slapper. Yeah, that was tough. I mean, Gonzaga, losing like that was just tough. I mean, to Baylor. Baylor was a great team that year, but it's really shocking to see them lose by that much. But thanks for being here, everybody. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But more importantly, thank you guys so much for being here. But right now in the national championship game, it's been a great game so far. Final game of the college basketball season. I'm glad you guys are all here hanging out watching it with me. Thanks so much. 19:50 to go in the second. UConn has the basketball up by 12. And San Diego State needs to stop. And wow, Jordan Hawkins just exploded the rim. That's crazy. He just exploded to the rim, and he missed the dunk. That's nuts. And Jordan Hawkins shoots a 3, and he misses the 3. So San Diego State gets the stop that they desperately needed. 19:20 to go in the second half. Aztecs are going down the floor. And Matt Bradley takes a 2 after a UConn player fell, and he knocks the shot down. That's a good swing right there. 10-point game, 36-26, 19-10 to go in the second half. So right now you've got the Aztecs with the start that they needed. Can UConn blow this thing back open, or will the Aztecs get another stop? You've got Andre Jackson on the left block. He's trying to make a move. He's going over to Sonogo, and Sonogo with the easy 2. That's too easy. 38-26. What a pass from Andre Jackson to Adama Sonogo. Now Matt Bradley with the basketball, and Matt Bradley's trying to make a move. He just hit a big shot, and now he's looking for Nathan Mensah. Nathan Mensah's really struggled with Sonogo. The physicality's been tough for him, and now you've got Matt Bradley trying to think about shooting a three, and now he does shoot it, and he misses. And now Jordan Hawkins with the rebound, but Matt Bradley steals it back. Bad play by Hawkins. Yeah, Hawkins was trying to get a little too ahead of himself right there. Now you've got Lamont Butler with the ball back to Nathan Mensah. Now Trammell with it. And Trammell now down to Mensah, almost with a steal. And Trammell kicks it off of Andre Jackson. So it will stay Aztec basketball, 38-26, 18 to go. But Jordan Hawkins, he tried to explode for the dunk, and he missed it. It went off back iron. That was interesting right there. He was upset. But, I mean, you got to finish the dunk. You're going for a dunk like that, you got to finish the dunk. Jordan Hawkins with 7 points in this game. Mensah, he kicks the ball over to Matt Bradley. Matt Bradley's being smothered. Now Trammell with the ball. He's driving into the lane. He goes up strong, and he misses the shot, and the ball is off UConn. Keyshawn Johnson tried to get the offensive rebound. He could not end up with the basketball. 18 to go in the second. So Aztecs still down 12 with the ball. Still needing points, and points fast. Brian Dutcher, he just looks exasperated on the sideline right now. Lamont Butler trying to inbound. Great defense by Jordan Hawkins. And a timeout by San Diego State. You don't want to use that there, but you had to use it. Couldn't get the ball inbounds. Gixter Squid says, have you considered streaming coverage of MotoGP, F1, other sport limited option? I think you do great. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'll have to figure out. I'll probably mix it up, this, summer while nothing else going on. You never know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing. Definitely have a lot more, expertise in college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL for sure. But I'll definitely consider it. I'll, see what's going on and try to figure it out. But it will be interesting. I'll definitely have to think about it for sure. But thanks for being here, Gixter Squid. Thanks for the idea as well. Connor Johnson is going to have to put on my rally cap for the second half. Yeah, rally. Come on, San Diego State. Connor Johnson's wanting to come back. Edwards says Caitlin Clark scored more points in the tournament, 236, than Iowa scored in football, 230, the whole season. That, in a way, is impressive, but it's also kind of bad for Iowa, kind of pathetic in a way. Like, that's it. I mean, I know football is a completely different sport, but yeah, that just shows Caitlin Clark's a great offensive basketball player, and Iowa is a really bad offensive football team. The Ohio State, that's an insane stat, Edward, for sure. Josh says, Caitlin, amazing all-time player. Yeah, and obviously Josh says men or women. I mean, to be honest, I think that you got to just look at Caitlin Clark as one of the best players in basketball. Obviously, in women's, one of the best. Men's is different because of the physicality, the way men's basketball is played. But I do think that overall, Caitlin Clark is amazing. So it's interesting for sure how to categorize that. Jonas is great call. Jeff, thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you guys so much for being here. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thank you guys for being here. You guys have made this an awesome stream. This has been an awesome game, even though San Diego State is struggling, but they're not out of it yet. Boggle Mike says it's still bad for Iowa football. Insane stats still, though. Iowa will win it all before she leaves. Yeah, it's possible they could. I thought when they beat South Carolina, they were going to have a really good chance, but props to LSU. Ohio State says Caitlin Clark reminds me of Steph Curry in college. Yeah, a lot of people have definitely compared the two, and I mean with good reason because the amount of threes they shoot and the tight threes they shoot, the deep threes. I mean, Steph Curry is ridiculous. Yeah, he shoots a lot more threes than Ray Allen, but the fact he's already passed Ray Allen and he's going to continue to shoot threes for many more seasons, Steph Curry's going to have such a big lead on that. I mean, he's going to have the record by a lot, and it's going to be so hard for anybody else to pass him. Yes, so many other players are shooting threes, but it's crazy. Edwards says Stewie's still the GOAT for winning basketball in college. She won 4 natties. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, you got to give a lot of props to players that are able to win it all multiple times, but sometimes you just got to give credit as well to individual players, even if they don't get the championships. I think that's the biggest issue Indiana fans have with Trace Jackson Davis because of the fact he hasn't won a title like players in the past, like Steve Alford or Isaiah Thomas, and with good reason. But Trace Jackson Davis, third all-time scoring in points and first in rebounds and blocks. It's just interesting. You got to definitely give props to players that are great that don't win as much for the school. But I do agree with you. When they do win for the school as well, it's amazing. 38-26 UConn. Now you've got Trammell with the ball. He gets it to Mensah, who is still struggling on Sonogo. Mensah kicks out. He just can't back down Sonogo in any way. And you've got Trammell going inside, and he does get fouled. So San Diego State will have a couple free throws. The Ohio State says Caitlin Clark really helped women's NBA viewership and revenue when she goes to the women's NBA. Yeah, for sure, because she's such a recognizable name. And I think like a lot of people that don't even watch much women's basketball knows her for sure just based on what she's done. So I agree with you there. I think she'll definitely help. Darian Trammell at the line. He's got 7 points in this game. And his first free throw is up, and it's good, 38-27. So San Diego State only down 11. Again, as bad as they've played at times in this game, hanging around. 38-27, 17:50 to go in the second. Trammell with the second free throw knocks it down. So 38-28, 10-point game. UConn inbound. Tristan Newton with the ball. And Tristan Newton, he's had a good game. I mean, he's playing solid basketball. He hasn't done maybe as much as he did against Miami, but he's just having a solid game. Passing the ball really well. Hasn't turned it over much at a couple big shots. Jordan Hawkins swings to Andre Jackson. Now back to Tristan Newton. Now to Caravan, who has struggled in this game. But Caravan, that might wake him up. Big three there for Alex Caravan. Bad sign for the Aztecs. He was the one player that wasn't really getting anything going in this game for UConn, and he just did a big three there. 41-28. 17-10 to go in the second half. San Diego State basketball. Caravan has 5 points. Matt Bradley kicks in the corner, and San Diego State cannot hit the three. And Mensah, he is fouled down low. No free throws, though. But that's a big shot by Alex Caravan. Huge three. I think that will really help out his confidence in this game. He has definitely struggled a bit at times, but he has 5 points now, hit a big three there. And UConn, every player is playing well for the most part. San Diego State's had a couple players, but not the whole team play well so far. They're only 3 of 13 from three as a team. UConn's 4 of 10. Now you've got Keyshawn Johnson driving into the lane, and he can't get the shot to fall. He's a player that hasn't gotten much going for San Diego State in this game. UConn basketball right now up 13, 16:40 to go in the second half. Jordan Hawkins swings to Andre Jackson. Back to Tristan Newton. Now you've got Adama Sanogo with the basketball. Kicks to Andre Jackson, and there's a foul. San Diego State won't like that one. Probably felt it was a bit weak, but he looked like he possibly was fouled on that drive. So there's a foul on San Diego State. No free throws. UConn will have the basketball still out of the inbound. 16:33 to go in the second half. And there's Bobby Hurley and the whole Hurley family for UConn. Definitely wanting Dan to get the win. And Alex Caravan, he shoots another three, cannot knock it down. Now you've got Trammell with the ball for San Diego State. He did a nice dribble drive action pick and roll play. He drove in and he misses the shot, passing it to Keyshawn Johnson. But it looks like there is a foul on UConn. So I think Keyshawn Johnson will have a couple free throws here. That was a really nice pass by Trammell inside. It was a really nice play. San Diego State's going to need a lot more of that if they want to get back in this game. I mean, they're still hanging around. They're not out of the woods in this game. It's only a 13-point deficit, but they need points quick. Keyshawn Johnson is 6 points. His first free throw's up, and it's good. 41-29, 16:20 to go in the second. And now Keyshawn Johnson will have another free throw to try to cut this lead down to 11. He's got 7 points now. And Keyshawn Johnson's shot is up, and it rattles home. 41-30. UConn only up by 11. Aztecs are still hanging around the fringes of being in this game. 16-10 to go in the second half. Tristan Newton trying to make a move, and they do call a foul on Trammell. Trammell does not like that call right there. He thought he played straight up defense, but they do call a foul on. That is tough to swallow. But it's still UConn basketball up 11, 16-12 to go in the second half. Tristan Newton with the ball. He'd probably like to draw another foul on Trammell, but he kicks to Andre Jackson. Andre Jackson gets it down low to Sanogo, who hasn't scored in a while, and they do call a foul on Nathan Mensah. The fouls are starting to rack up on the Aztecs. There's another foul right there on Mensah. He was trying to guard straight up, but he just could not stop Sanogo. Sanogo was just too dominant down low. I think that's been a big problem for Mensah in this game. San Diego State has decent post players. They're really solid, Nathan Mensah and Aro, but really overall, they just cannot stop Sanogo on either end of the floor. They can't score on him, and they can't stop him. Sanogo hits the first free throw, so it's 42-30. The Huskies are up by 12. Barely over 16 minutes left in the second half. Sanogo with another free throw. He is sweating his tail off. He's doing everything he possibly can in this game. Sanogo's playing really hard, and that's what you want to see if you're Dan Hurley. He's been a big key for the Huskies' lead in this game. He's playing well on the offensive end, but on defense, he's playing great as well, not allowing San Diego State to get in the paint at all. And you look at the Aztecs, they look really tired as well, especially the post players, having to work with Sanogo. Trammell gets blocked by Caravan. The Aztecs do save it, trying to drive in, and they lay it up and in. It was a really good play by Lamont Butler. He drove in the lane. It's 43-32. 15:30 to go in the second half. The Aztecs are down by 11. Tristan Newton's trying to make a move, but really good defense from Trammell. 15:20 to go in the second half. Andre Jackson back to Newton. 10 to go on the shot clock. That's the first made layup for San Diego State. That's how tough UConn's made their offense for him. And they call another foul on Trammell. Tristan Newton drove in the lane. They call another foul on Trammell. That's probably either his second or third foul. That is not ideal if you're a San Diego State fan there. That is not what you want to see. And it looks like the fouls are going to keep racking up overall on the Aztecs. And if the fouls start racking up on the Aztecs, then that's just not going to work for them. Because right now, everything's not really going their way at this point in time in this game. UConn's really had mostly the role in this game. They've been on a roll. They've been getting everything going their way. The shots are falling, and they've dictated this game. But the one thing the Aztecs kind of has, UConn had more fouls, but now San Diego State's starting to rack up fouls as well. It's just not a good sign. Well, it'd be really interesting to see if they can get that under control. The Ohio State for the win says almost never watch women's basketball and watch more of the women's tournament than I ever have, mainly because of Caitlin Clark. Yeah, she is a fantastic shooter. Edwards says Ray Allen shot 6 threes per game. Curry shoots 13 per game. Sarah just shoots as many as possible. For sure. And again, that's why Curry has passed Ray Allen so quickly. And again, that's not a knock on Curry. He's a great shooter. He's fantastic. But if Ray Allen had shot more, I think he could have had way more threes as well. The Ohio State for the win says it's also nice that Ohio State women made the Elite Eight and beat UConn women in the Sweet 16 this season. Yeah, Ohio State women's was really good. But to Ever's point, I wish UConn had Buckner, but she tore ACL right before the season. And Ohio State, yeah, if UConn had Paige Buggers, they would have made the Final Four at least. For sure. She's a great player as well, and that definitely did hurt UConn's depth this season in women's basketball. Josh says Caitlin will have a chance 1 year to hold her hand up for sure. I think that she can, but Iowa's going to have more of a team effort all the way around. They have a good team. The more of a supporting cast for Caitlin Clark would really help out the Hawkeyes be able to have a chance to win it all. But in this game right now, UConn has a great chance to win this game because they're just dominating on both sides of the ball. Now they're starting to get the Aztecs in a bit of foul trouble. UConn is starting to make their threes. Alex Caravan just hit a big one. And you've got Adama Sanogo dominating on offense and defense. I mean, you look at Nathan Menson when he's trying to back down Sanogo. He can't even do it because Sanogo's just standing there and his big-bodied frame is not allowing Nathan Menson to gain ground. And then on the offensive end, Adama Sanogo is just having his way down there. That's just the problem for, San Diego State overall. I think the biggest issue that they're having right now in this game is the fact that they cannot guard. They just cannot guard UConn on the block, in the post. That is their biggest issue. The guards, San Diego State's done a pretty good job. I still think UConn might be winning that battle by a bit overall, but the post, the center play, and really the paint in general, even UConn's guards getting in the paint has been dominated by UConn. The Ohio State for the win says, which of the players on UConn do you think will make it to the NBA? That's a great question. I think Adama Sanogo will, for sure, because he's getting better at shooting the ball. Great post player. Yes, the NBA's changed, and he maybe isn't the quickest in the West, but I think he'll have a good shot. Jordan Hawkins, I think, has got a really good chance. He might even be a first-round pick. The other players, I think Donovan Klingman in the future could. I mean, you look at some of their other players. I mean, Tristan Newton's really solid, but I mean, you have to be really good to get in the NBA these days, especially considering the way the NBA is playing right now. There's just so many great teams, so many great players, so it will be interesting to see for sure. But I do think that several of their players will have a chance. They have a really good team. The Ohio State for the wins. Sanogo will be a second-round draft pick and a solid role player in the NBA. He will for sure, especially now that he's shooting more. I think that will definitely help him out. I think Alex Caravan in the future could as well if he gets better, doing more besides shooting. He really could. But it will be interesting. But definitely Sanogo and Jordan Hawkins. Tristan Newton, he hits the first, so it's 44-32. Huskies are up by 12 over the Aztecs, 15-19 to go in the second half. And Tristan Newt with the second free throw, he knocks it down, 45-32. The Huskies are up by 13 over the Aztecs, 15-19 to go in the second half. San Diego State still trying to hang around. They haven't gotten to the point where they're getting completely blown out, but they can't get back in this game either. They're doing everything they possibly can, but they are struggling on the defensive side of the ball and on offense as well. Seiko in the corner, and he hits a big three. Cuts the lead to 10. UConn 45-35. Big shot by Adam Seiko in the corner for the Aztecs. Now you've got UConn with the ball on the offensive again. Andre Jackson kicks to Tristan Newton, who just hit a couple of free throws for UConn. 14-40 to go in the second half. And you've got Tristan Newton trying to work on Adam Seiko on the left wing. Now you've got Caravan. He tried to get it down low, and it was a steal. But then San Diego State loses the ball. And now Andre Jackson almost airballs a three. Might have grazed front rim, but San Diego State gets the ball back. Aztecs got to settle it down a little bit. Now you've got Matt Bradley driving in. Kicks to Seiko again in the corner. Seiko thought about the three, but he pulls it back out. And they call an offensive foul. Josh is the ref, terrible. They're trying to stop the comeback. I mean, I don't know. It's always tough on that, but that was an interesting call there. Seiko, he didn't really extend the arm too much, but they called an offensive foul regardless. That hurts because the Aztecs were starting to maybe make a mini run there. They just need to get another stop, find a way to get back in the game. That was a really tough offensive foul there for Adam Seiko to pick up. But now you've got Andre Jackson with the ball. UConn up by 10, 14 to go in the second half. Now you've got Tristan Newton down to Sonogo on the block. Sonogo, he kicks out to Naheem Aline, who's now in the game, to Caravan. Now Andre Jackson down to Sonogo, and he gets fouled. So another foul on the Aztecs. 6 fouls on San Diego State, 3 on UConn. Fouls are starting to rack up a bit. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens the rest of this game. The San Diego State Aztecs are trying to make a run. They're getting back in the game a little bit, but not enough to officially say that they're back in it. They're still down by 10. They've had a hard time getting it under that mark. And now Sonogo's at the line for UConn. 13:59 to go in the second. He's got 11 points and 6 rebounds. His first free throw's up and in. 46-35. Sonogo's gotten a lot better at the free throw line as well as three-point shooting and overall play for UConn this season. Man, he is tired, though. They're probably going to have to bring Klingman in soon because he is exhausted. And Sonogo at the line for the second free throw. UConn up by 11. He's trying to extend the lead out to 12 points. His free throw is up. And it is good. 47-35. San Diego State down by 12. It's a big offensive foul on Seiko because San Diego State could have got it under 10. But now it's still a 12-point lead for UConn. Mensah now has 3 fouls. That's not good for San Diego State. They still have A-Rope, and he's in the game now. But Mensah, still a really key part of the Aztecs team. Now Seiko's trying to drive. And now you've got Lamont Butler, who hit the big shot against Florida Atlantic to get the win. He misses a 3 there. Now you've got Tristan Newton with the basketball. UConn up by 12. 13:20 to go in the second half. Newton kicks in the corner to Naheem Aline, and Aline misses the 3, and you've got Jaden Ledee with the rebound. So San Diego State still down 12. Trammell and Mensah with 3 fouls. And now you've got Lamont Butler trying to drive in. He goes up, no foul call. He probably doesn't like that one at all, but they didn't call a foul on UConn. Now Alex Caravan down the floor, and he's driving in. I don't know if they called a foul on that play or not. There was a lot of contact there. They might have just called it out of bounds. No, they did call a foul on San Diego State. Oh, man. Jada was not enjoying it. He says, refs destroying the game. Brian Dutch are so mad. He says San Diego is a great rebounding team. I completely agree. There has been a lot of fouls on the Aztecs in the second half. They're just going to have to find a way to tighten up. The Ohio State says UConn already being in the bonus is huge for them. Yeah, it is because they're already winning, and now in the team that's losing is in the bonus. Now you can just keep driving on them and get to the foul line and keep making free throws. It almost makes it impossible for San Diego State to come back. It's going to be interesting. Can the Aztecs make a run? They're down by 12, 13:04 to go in the second half. The fouls are racking up against them. They can't make shots. It's going to be very interesting to see for sure. But now you've got Alex Caravan at the line. And he misses the free throw. He misses the 1-and-1. So that's huge. That helps out San Diego State there. If he had to hit both those free throws, UConn would have been up by 14. But now you've got A-Rope with the ball. He kicks to Jalen Ledee. Ledee's driving in, and he misses the shot. Tristan Newton with the rebound, and he's fouled by Keyshawn Johnson. That's interesting right there. Overall, the fouls just keep racking up. Jackson says, ugh, the Aztecs are missing layup after layup after layup. For sure they are. They're really struggling. They cannot hit layups. If they had to hit their layups, then I think San Diego State might be tied or winning this game. Yes, UConn's length is giving them issues, but still, they can't make the easy shots. They're struggling to hit layups, and that's big key. Newton has 11.7 rebounds and 3 assists, and he hits the first free throw for UConn. 13-point lead. Again, when Tristan Newton has a big stat line of around 10, 11 points, 7, 8 rebounds, few assists, he's a dangerous player. He does so much for UConn. He's a really big glue guy, even though he's basically the point guard. And he knocks down both free throws. 49-35. UConn up by 14. 12:45 to go in the second half. Huskies are doing a great job overall on offense and defense in this game. San Diego State now has 8 fouls. UConn only with 3. The Huskies are 11-13 at the line. And San Diego State is 9 of 11. And now a good defensive play by Jordan Hawkins. That was a really good play. And they do call a foul on Andre Jackson on Agwook A-Rope. 12:28 to go in the second half. Aztecs need anything to go their way right now. UConn's definitely building a lead. They're doing a really good job in the second half of, withstanding that little bit of run that San Diego State had. They were trying to get back in the game, and UConn definitely was doing a great job of being able to withstand it, just like they did against Miami when Miami came back. And the Huskies are now up by 14. So now A-Rope with the basketball. He's trying to make a move. He kicks in the corner. Micah Parrish with the ball. Now to Ledee. Jaden Ledee's driving on Klingman, and they call a foul on Klingman. Klingman doesn't like it, but he did get him with the body. It's really hard not to when you're that large. Jackson says, come on, Aztecs, let's go. He's definitely wanting the Aztecs to come back. A lot of people want the Aztecs to get their first championship, and they're trying. They're really trying hard in this game, but UConn's just so dominant overall. They're just making it tough on the Aztecs to do anything. Even that play right there for Jalen Ledee trying to drive on Klingman didn't really work, but he got a foul drawn on him. Now Ledee's at the line. He has no points in this game. So trying to get his first point, and he misses the free throw. Got to make your free throws. If you're San Diego State, you're down 14 points. You got to make your free throws. He misses the first. So he's trying to cut the lead down to 13, try to shoot this free throw and get it in. And his second free throw is up, and it goes down. So it's 49-36. 12:10 to go in the second half. UConn with the ball. Andre Jackson. Donovan Klingman now has 3 fouls. That's the only player in foul trouble for UConn. Trammell and Mensah 3 for San Diego State. Naheem Aline with the basketball. Naheem Aline's trying to drive, and he goes up strong, and his shot goes in and out. But I think they might have called a foul on San Diego State. There's definitely been a lot more fouls in this second half. 11:56 to go in the second, and we have a TV timeout. Jackson Johnson says, well, either way, Bama got beat by both of these schools. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Alabama lost to UConn in the regular season. They lost to San Diego State in the term. That's crazy. But, yeah, both these teams are great. San Diego State's a great team. Again, they deserve to be here. They've done a great job this tournament, but they're just getting overwhelmed physically by UConn. The Ohio State says San Diego State needs to get the deficit down to 8 or less with 5 minutes to go to have a chance at the big upset, I think. Yeah, for sure. They've just been hovering around the 10 to 14 range this whole entire second half. They can't get it below 10. The one time they had a chance to get it below 10, and then they didn't get it below 10 because they called an offensive foul on Adam Seiko, and then UConn proceeded to hit a couple free throws. So that was their chance to cut the lead, but they just weren't able to do it. And that was an interesting situation right there. That was a big swing in the game because San Diego State had a chance. They had to hit another shot. It could have got to 8. But then UConn extended the lead again. And even when Miami cut it to 8 in the second half of the UConn-Miami game, then UConn extended the lead as well in the Final Four. So overall, you just think about UConn at large. They're a team that's really good at withstanding other teams' run. They really make it tough for you to come back. I think that it's just due to the fact they're so physical and they have great players at most of their positions at the guard and forward positions in the wings. It's just overall a great basketball team that's fundamental, and they don't allow you to come back. So it's going to be interesting. Buckeye Mike says UConn all the way for sure. I mean, definitely a lot of people on the UConn train to get their 5th title. A lot of people wanted the upset, but it's not over. This game's not over by a long shot. There's still plenty of time. I mean, obviously, UConn's in much better shape than San Diego State, and the circumstances aren't that good for the Aztecs, but it's 49-36. 11:56 to go in the second half. The game's nowhere near over. We've seen so many comebacks, so many teams in March Madness this year that it's definitely not over yet. I think that there's still plenty of time in this game for, UConn to potentially fall behind, and then San Diego State can come back and, get back in front and potentially win. I don't think it's over. If UConn just starts playing some bad basketball, it's nowhere near over. But I think that overall, the way that San Diego State's playing, they're not really inspiring the confidence that they can get back in the game. They haven't really done anything to show you to say, hey, we're coming back, that we're building the momentum. UConn's been dominating the whole game. They've had that big 10 to 14 point lead most of the game. And it's just been the fact that San Diego State can't make a run to really put a lot of game pressure on UConn. UConn's just kind of been able to steadily go in this game. Even when they've had some struggles, they haven't really had to, withstand that run like Miami did. I think that San Diego State's going to have to make a run soon or they won't have a chance. Edwards said, and Bama had a bunch of players leave via the draft and the portal. For sure. I think Bama will be a team to be reckoned with for years to come. Naotes is doing a great job. But it's going to be interesting. They said a 5 seed has never won a national championship. That's crazy to think about, especially considering we've had an 8 seed with, Villanova back in 1985, and North Carolina almost won it last year, but they lost to Kansas. So it's definitely interesting there. Buckeye Mike says, do I do something on the way of games? I don't think so. You just got to do, the best you can. Edward says it's going to be interesting if Bama can have the same type of season next year. I agree with you, Edward, 100%. Naheem Alina is 5 points, and you got a 14-point lead, and he hits both free throws. Now it's a 15-point lead. So it was a 13-point lead. He hits both free throws, and now San Diego State's down by 15. 11:50 to go in the second half. Now you've got Lamont Butler with the basketball, trying to figure it out on the offensive end for the Aztecs, trying to get something going in this game. Lamont Butler kicks to Jaden Ledee, who's had a really quiet game. And now Lamont Butler with the ball. He hit the big shot against Florida Atlantic. He passes to Ledee, and Ledee knocks down the mid-range. 51-38. 11:20 to go in the second half. So San Diego State down by 13. Still hanging around, trying to give UConn another run to potentially get back in the game, put some game pressure on the Huskies, but they haven't been able to do it so far. Andre Jackson with the ball. He kicks to Klingman, who's a mismatch nightmare on A-rope. He goes up strong, and he lays it in. And it's back up to 15 for UConn. 53-38, 11 to go in the second. The Huskies are just flying on both ends of the floor. Now you've got Trammell missing a shot, and A-rope with the rebound. He somehow got it over Klingman. Aztecs for 3. He knocks it down. 53-41, 10:40 to go in the second. So still UConn up big in this game, 12-point lead, but the Aztecs still not folding, doing everything they can. They're hanging around. That's what you got to do, but you got to get it under 10. Got to find a way to make a run, put game pressure on UConn. Huskies are kind of in cruise control right now. Andre Jackson with the basketball, kicks to Joey Calcaterra. Back to Andre Jackson, and he misses a 3. San Diego State rebound. Here's a chance for the Aztecs. Up the floor. And now you've got a 3 by Micah Parrish. Can't make the shot. There was a chance to get it under 10. Andre Jackson with the ball. So 53-41 UConn, 10 to go in the second half. Andre Jackson, he's been kind of quiet in this game. It hasn't really needed to be a force on the offensive end. UConn's definitely been up the whole game. Other players are contributing. Now Joey Calcaterra shoots a 3 off the screen, and he knocks it down, and it's back up to 15. What a screen by Donovan Klingman, and what a shot by Joey Calcaterra. That's a huge shot by a bench player. 56-41, 9:30 to go in the second. Now you've got Jaden Ledee. He goes up strong and lays it in. San Diego State's been much better on the offensive end in the second half, but still struggling on defense. 9:20 to go in the second. Andre Jackson with the basketball. UConn still hovering with that 10 to 15 point lead. That's exactly where they want to be. Keep San Diego State. Fend them off. You don't want to let them back in the game. Andre Jackson with the ball. Back to Joey Calcaterra. He shoots the two. He misses. Klingman with the offensive rebound. Klingman's trying to go up. He loses it. Both teams are fighting for the ball. Calcaterra shoots a three off the rebound. He misses again. And Naheem Aline, he shoots a two and he misses. And Trammell with the rebound. San Diego State trying to drive again. Trammell gets in the paint to Ledee. Ledee goes up, and he gets the two to fall. 56-45, and Ledee's hit a couple big shots in the second half. It's down to 11. It's not over yet. Still time. 8:30 to go in the second half. UConn up by 11. And a timeout by UConn. Probably a good move by Dan Hurley. Doesn't like the momentum San Diego State's gaining. Again, I'll repeat the Buckeye Mike on his point. Just try the best you can, man. Jackson says if UConn wins, they will be the first unranked preseason team to win it all since 2011 when Cardiac, Kemba Walker, and UConn won it all. That's crazy. I mean, not a lot of people were thinking UConn was going to be a team that was going to go all the way. But overall, I think that, they were a team that a lot of people felt that they make the tournament and have some success, but not this far. But they've definitely, since, going 14-0 and everyone thought they had a shot to go all the way, and then they fell apart, but they came back around and had a great season after all. They did a great job. Jackson, now it's 53-4 on UConn lead. Yeah, UConn just keeps staying above 10. And like the Ohio State and San Diego State just can't get the deficit to single digits. He also says San Diego State starting to get into offensive rhythm, making shots. For sure. And the Ohio State says as well, Ledee is starting to hit some shots finally. I agree with you. That's key for San Diego State. Got to make the shots. You got to make the shots. Overall, if you look at San Diego State, you just can't have a couple players making shots. You got to do everything you possibly can. You got other players involved, and now Ledee is starting to make some shots. We just passed 530 subs. Thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are awesome. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Josh says they're coming back. Great run. For sure. I mean, they're making a move. This is exactly what they need right here. Jordan Hawkins shoots. Air ball. Adama Sanogo tries to get the rebound. And it's out of bounds. San Diego State basketball. Infinity Process, what's good? Thanks for being here. John Jansen's hi as well. Thank you guys so much. Christian Regus is showing love. Thank you guys so much. All you guys for coming around. Uneducated Sports Style. What's up, my guy? Keep grinding. We're showing love. Thank you, man, for the raid. You guys are great. All you guys for being here. Got a great game here, the national championship game. And still the Aztecs are hanging around. Jaden Ledee. He kicks to Keyshawn Johnson for 3. And San Diego State's cut it to 8. UConn 56, San Diego State 48, and the Aztecs fans are getting back in at 7:50 to go, and this game is not over yet. There's still time. 7-0 run by the Aztecs, 140 in the last 140. They've been on a 7-0 run, and there's a turnover. Aztecs down the 4. Trammell, he lays it up this time, and it's in 56-50. It's not over. The Aztecs are on a huge run. And San Diego State's home arena is rocking right now. The Aztecs only down by 6, and we might have a game after all. Adama Sanogo with the basketball. 9-0 run for San Diego State. They're finally on the run that they desperately needed. 56-50. And you've got Newton with a floater. He missed. And Sanogo with the tap back. Adama Sanogo for 2. That was a huge shot by Sanogo. Now you've got Matt Bradley for San Diego State. Still a 9-2 run for San Diego State. They're getting back in the game. Big shot by Sanogo, though. Now inside. And a missed shot by Keyshawn Johnson, but a foul on UConn. And the Aztecs are making a big run. It is not over by a long shot. Jackson says, next time the Final Four in the Texas, I'm automatically picking a Big East team to win it all. For sure, but it's not over yet. Rising Rhino says, UST raid. Thank you guys so much from the Uneducated Sports Talk. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Daniel McKean as well. UST raid. Thank you guys. Easy Money says, hey, everyone, I guess getting here late is better than never. What's happening, Jerry? Thanks for being here, Easy Money. I'm glad you can make it back. I missed you in the Final Four, but it's all right, man. Thanks for being here tonight. You're awesome, man. All you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Daniel McKean says, Uneducated Sports already showing love. I'm glad all you guys can make it tonight. What's up, Only Talk Sports? Yeah, it's great, man. I mean, this game, it was kind of looking like a blowout, but it's coming back. It's coming around. The Ohio State says, here we go, San Diego State. Again, it's getting interesting down the stretch here. I mean, the Aztecs could not get it under 10, but they finally did. And again, better late than never. It's not over yet. Still time. You can get back in this game. Nowhere near over. Josh says, here we go. UConn's going to foul out. Yeah, definitely the confidence is coming. Jackson says it's a 9-2 run for San Diego State. I mean, they're doing a great job. Rosin Rhino says, let's go Aztecs. Josh says, too much talk, UConn. I mean, you look at UConn. The way UConn's been playing all game, they just look like they've been in control, like they've been dominating this game. No issues, no questions asked. They're just dominating overall. San Diego State's been looking timid most of the game, but then they finally got things figured out in that run. They were running up and down the floor. They were the ones out hustling UConn. That's what they've needed all game long, and they finally got that little spark to get them going. That was huge. But thanks, everyone, for being here. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thank you guys so much for being here, all your support. You guys are awesome and make this so much fun. You guys are great. Thanks for being here. The Ohio State for the win. So I wonder if Kawhi Leonard is showing any emotion watching this game, laughing out loud. Probably for sure. He's wanting San Diego State to get the win this time. Roz and Rano in the house. Again, thanks for being here. Cass Urschel says, what's up, man? Thanks for being here as well. Thanks for all the new people being here tonight. You guys are welcome and awesome. Thanks so much. Gixer Squid says, here we go. We got a game going on here. Easy Money says, I had coming night and overnight guess with Final Four. I made it tonight, though, at least the last part of the game. Oh, you're good, man. Again, I appreciate you for being here. You always make these streams awesome, man, showing up. Thanks so much. But right now, I'm hoping we got a thriller here, a classic going down to the wire. The Aztecs maybe going to make this a game yet. It's not over. Down by 8. Under 7 to go. But, man, UConn had a big lead the whole game. But San Diego State, saved for a bucket by Adamas Sanogo on a putback, has been on a big run here. And that is huge stuff. That's big news. Jackson Johnson Jeffrey may be getting close to your prediction coming true. Yeah, 75-70 will be interesting for sure. UConn up by 8 right now. 6:58 to go in the second half. But can the Aztecs make a run? Kelvin Sampson in attendance. They're showing him right now. He's probably wishing he was in this game for sure. But definitely only 2 teams can make it. You have a 68-team field and only 2 teams can make it. And out of all the mess, we got San Diego State and UConn. And now Keyshawn Johnson, who's got 11 points. He's 4-4 at the line, and he misses the first. Big miss. Got to make your free throws. That's his first miss at the line. San Diego State as a team's been pretty solid at the line, but you got to make them. Can't miss free throws. And his second free throw is up, and he gets it to drop. 58-51. 6:58 to go in the second half. Brian Dutcher. You can see the intensity in his face is rising as his team is getting back in this game. Andre Jackson to Adama Sanogo. Can the Aztecs get some stops, or will UConn start to blow it open again? And I think they do call a foul on San Diego State, so that's free throws for UConn. You can't do that. You're in the bonus, but you got to be able to defend without fouling. And Micah Parrish, I think, gets called for the foul there. So now Jordan Hawkins is going to the free throw line to try to extend this lead. That will be an issue, it seems, the rest of this game, considering the fact that San Diego State is in the double bonus. So every foul, UConn will be going to the line. UConn has 6 fouls, so San Diego State will be going to the line every successive foul as well, but it's going to be for 1-and-1s. So you got to make them. But Jordan Hawkins, he hits the first free throw. As Jackson said, 1 free throw in 59-51 UConn. Hawkins with 8 points and 4 rebounds, and his second free throw is up, and it drops as well. So it's 60-51. Back up to a 9-point lead for UConn. 6:45 to go in the second half. Parrish, Trammell, and Mensah with 3 fouls for San Diego State. Can San Diego State get another score? Put more game pressure on UConn. You've got Lamont Butler with the ball. He drives in. A lot of contact, no foul. UConn basketball, that was a lot of contact. Maybe they got him clean, but that was a lot of contact down low. But no foul called there. So now UConn with the basketball. 6:10 to go in the second half, getting down to the nitty-gritty. And there's a steal. San Diego State steals the ball from Tristan Newton, and they lay it up and in. What a play. 60-53. That was a great defensive play by the Aztecs. 6 to go in the second half. 7-point game. 5:50 to go in the second half. Tristan Newton with the ball, who just got his pocket picked. Aztecs still playing some good defense, trying to find a way to do it without fouling. Lamont Butler's the one that had that steal and layup. He's got 13 points. Tristan Newton's driving in. He misses the shot. Aztecs with the rebound. What a rebound by Keyshawn Johnson. And now you've got Matt Bradley with the ball. He's been silent in the second half. Matt Bradley kicks to Ledee. Ledee's been playing well in this second half. And now you've got it to Keyshawn Johnson on the block. Keyshawn Johnson goes up, and he misses, but they do call a foul on UConn. So now San Diego State can cut the lead even more. Easy money said, don't count your chips where they have. So holds so true to beat San Diego State. Yeah, you let them back in the game, and you can see their confidence is rising. As timid as San Diego State looked in this game, they're coming back. It's Jackson's boom layup, 60-53 UConn. Lamont Butler's playing so well since the Ohio State. He's playing great. Keyshawn Johnson with 12 points. He's going up for the free throws, and his first free throw is up and in. 60-54, 5:19 to go in this second half. It's going down to the wire here. It's getting really interesting. 5:19 to go in the second half. And his second free throw is up and in. 60-55. 5:19 to go in the second half, and it's a 5-point game. No one really expected this, considering the fact earlier in the game, UConn was up big, but San Diego State's come back. UConn led by 16 at one point, and the Aztecs have cut it to 5. Hawkins for 3, and he knocks it down. What a shot by Jordan Hawkins. If UConn does win, that was the shot that won it for him right there to stop the momentum of San Diego State. It still wasn't over, but a huge shot by Jordan Hawkins. 63-55. Almost a turnover for San Diego State. They keep the ball in bounds, but it's a turnover. Tristan Newton's driving in, and another steal. That pass by Newton, and now San Diego State has the basketball back. Trying to drive is Trammell. He kicks to Ledee. Now Keyshawn Johnson with the ball. Now Matt Bradley with the offensive rebound. Matt Bradley's trying to shake Jordan Hawkins. He kicks to Ledee. Ledee thought about the jumper. He still thought about the jumper. He's trying to drive on Sonogo, but his body won't let him drive, and he misses the shot. UConn basketball. That's a big miss for San Diego State. They needed that bucket. 4 to go in the second half. UConn up 8, and they can kind of slow this thing down a little bit. Make the possessions longer. Fewer possessions left in the game, try to maintain the lead. Naheem Aline kicks to Newton, almost a steal, but Newton with the ball, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Sonogo's driving in, and he misses the shot. San Diego State with the rebound, and I think they do call a foul on UConn. The Ohio State said Lamont Butler's game winners have given him so much confidence in his game, for sure. When you're a player and you get things going your way like that, you believe you can keep doing it. And I definitely agree with you. The way Lamont Butler's had those big game winners is definitely making him play so much better. Easy money says, yep, it's never over. It's hard to put San Diego State away for sure. Jackson's a three-pointer at 63-55 UConn. Easy money says 8 points. Yeah, it's an 8-point game. Still within reach. Still so much time left in this game, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens for sure in the final 4 minutes of this game. Can San Diego State, from the jaws of defeat, snatch the victory and be able to get their first national championship winner? Will UConn keep their lead, regain control of the game, and get a win over the Aztecs? Or will it go down the wire? It looks like the Aztecs are going to win and UConn squeaks it out at the end. It's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to the ending. But again, thanks so much for being everybody. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Share the stream out on social media. But again, I appreciate you guys for being here so much. Thanks for being here. You guys have made this a great stream. And this has been a fantastic national championship game. It's been dominated by UConn largely the whole game. But San Diego State, do they have another run in them to try to get back in it? Regardless, it's been a fantastic national championship game, and UConn could win their 5th national title, first under Dan Hurley. It will be interesting to see what happens for sure. But if San Diego State wins, it'll be their first national championship in their school history, and it will be the first national championship for a non-Power 5 program since UNLV won it back in 1990 with Jerry Tarkanian at head coach, which would be huge for college basketball. That would be huge. The Aztecs are hanging in there. They're not folding. They're not giving up. but they are running out of time for sure. There's going to be only so many possessions left in this game. You would assume probably about 6 to 8 possessions left per team. That means San Diego State's going to have to score on at least 4 or 5 of those possessions and be able to stop UConn for the majority of those possessions. They won't have a chance, but it's still not over yet. San Diego State's come back so many times. They know how to come back. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. A lot of people probably biting their nails, getting down to the wire. But it will be interesting to see what happens. I think this game has kind of gone the way a lot of people expected. UConn definitely has looked like the more dominant team, and they definitely have shown that, they're a very capable basketball team that can handle almost any team in college basketball. And they've improved as the season's gone along, and now they're just dominant. But San Diego State has struggled at times. This game looked like they were going to fold, and a lot of people's blowout prediction for UConn looked like it might ring true. But San Diego State's hanging in there. So it will be interesting. Tennessee Vols for Life says, love your shows. You're really good at this. Thank you so much, Tennessee Vols for Life. And I really appreciate the compliment as well. Thank you guys so much. You guys make this so much fun, and your compliments are so encouraging, and I really appreciate them. Thank you so much for that. Glad you're here as well. This has been a fantastic game. It's getting really interesting late. 63-55. So Keyshawn Johnson with 63 seconds left in the game. Or he's 63% at the line, but with 3:52 left in the game. And you've got a missed free throw there. That's big. You cannot miss that shot there. That is a terrible miss at the line for Keyshawn Johnson on the 1-and-1. You knew the 1-and-1s were going to come into play. 63% free throw shooter, and he misses the 1-and-1. And now I think they call a foul on San Diego State. Tennessee Vols for Life said, I can't stand your shows. Well, I mean, that's funny, man. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, overall, I tried to do it. He liked doing unscripted. I you don't like him, I'm sorry about that. But, thanks for being here tonight, though. I get it. It's tough doing it with 2 people, anyways. Sometimes, with one person, it's easier for sure. But thanks for being here, though. I really appreciate your support for sure. But Tristan Newton, he knocks down his free throw, and it goes in. So Keyshawn Johnson just missed on the other end. And now you've got Tristan Newton hitting it on the other side. So 64-55. 3:41 to go in the game. And Newton knocks down both. 65-55. Easy money says, can't be missing shots. No, you can't. Not at this time of the game. San Diego State, it's now or never. Got to make a run right now. Lamont Butler with the ball. He's been clutch this March Madness. Does he have anything in him right now? Lamont Butler. Now you've got Adam Seiko in the game. He's hit a couple big shots, but it hasn't been enough for them to be ahead. And Lamont Butler, he shoots a 3, and he misses it. UConn with the rebound. Dave Valensky, thanks for being here. Dave says, why is the media all over the LSU women's basketball trash? Don't know how to care when a man does it, but it's under sports shoe and a woman. Yeah, like I said, you want to have sportsmanship for sure and be, not overreactive, but still, to your point, it's a little overblown. I agree, but it is what it is. Under 3 to go. Tristan Newton with the basketball. 65-55. UConn up by 10. Newton's driving in, and Newton with a big shot. 1 second on the shot clock. He lays it in. 67-55. The Aztecs needed a stop there, couldn't get it, and they might be out of time now. It's not over yet still, but they can't make shots. Matt Bradley misses another 3. And Easy Money says San Diego State missing too many shots now. They had a run, but now they can't make a shot to save their life again. And Tristan Newton is going to keep dribbling out this clock, and we're running out of time in college basketball. We're running out of time in the national championship game. It's almost over. And UConn might be getting their 5th national championship. Newton with the basketball. UConn up by 12. And Newton shoots the 3. And he almost banked in. Sonogo with the rebound. And he tried to lay it in, and he misses. And there's a foul on San Diego State. They're running out of time. And if UConn sinks these free throws, it might be about it. It might be out of time for San Diego State. It's unfortunate. They gave it everything they had. They hustled, but unfortunately for the Aztecs, they didn't have enough offense when it mattered. There was too many times in this game where they really struggled on the offensive end. 2:08 to go in the second half. UConn 67, San Diego State 55. And Sonogo, who's 75% at the line. 5 of 6 tonight, has 2 free throws. He's got 15 points in this game. He is sweating to death. He's played so hard, and his first free throw is up, and it's in. 68-55. V Ohio State for the win. So what a response by UConn with this 9-0 run. You're absolutely right, V Ohio. And that's what UConn's done all tournament long. And once they got out of that bad run in the Big East where they were really struggling, they started playing better. That's what they've done all year. UConn's been able to withstand runs by the other team and then go on a big run themselves. And that's why UConn is going to possibly win this national championship game, because of the fact they withstood San Diego State's big run. They cut the lead down to 5. Sonogo, he knocks down both free throws. It's 69-55. What a game by Sonogo. What a game by the Huskies. And the time is about out for the Aztecs. 2 to go in the game. And you've got Trammell with the ball. 0 field goals in the last 4 minutes for San Diego State. And you got Trammell hitting a big jump shot there at 69-57. Timeout Brian Dutcher. But it might be too little too late. Dave Walensky says, kind of felt this was going to happen to San Diego State, relying on the defense way too much. Yeah, I mean, the thing is their offense just fell asleep at times. They had that 0 field goals in like 10-minute drought in the first half. Now they just had a 4-minute drought. You can't have those droughts. UConn hasn't had those droughts. That's been the difference. Jackson John said to Dave Walensky, yeah, Keith Olbermann was adding mean towards the LC player. Then again, it's Toss Matt when you tweet for your dog. Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, the thing is that you want to be competitive, but you don't want to do anything overly ridiculous, but sometimes stuff's overblown. It is what it is. V Ohio State says UConn so deserves this championship. I 100% agree. Buckeye Mike says UConn's winning this shit. Let's all party after the game, unless you're a San Diego State fan or somebody wanting a new championship. But still, congrats to UConn if they do hold out for this win. They've done a great job. Credit to San Diego State. They deserve to be here. They did everything they possibly could, but UConn was so impressive in this game. Dominated from wire to wire. They did everything right in this game. They played fantastic basketball. The Ohio State says UConn will have their 5th national title in the last 24 seasons they hold on. That is 2 more than any other program, as UNC is second with 3 in that time span. They've been dominant, and it's mostly because of Jim Calhoun. I know Kevin Ollie won the one, but it was with Jim Calhoun's players. But Dan Hurley, he's brought UConn back, and UConn is a blue blood. They're a blue blood program, especially the last 25 years. They are a blue blood program along with UCLA, Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, Indiana. That's about it. I mean, Villanova as well as a couple others. Those are your blue bloods, man. Easy money. Nobody's playing better than UConn throughout the tournament. They're about to win another basketball championship. It's crazy. They're fantastic. The Ohio State said, where would you rank UConn as an all-time college basketball if they hold on this league? UConn's getting closer to being a dominant blue blood story when comparing to UCLA, Duke, UNC, and Kentucky. Yeah, I think UCLA obviously got to have a number 1 for what they've done, but not right now, but throughout all time. And then probably, I would say maybe Carolina, then Duke. Or not, but probably Kentucky, Carolina, Duke. Indiana, UConn's tough. You might almost have to put UConn ahead of Indiana, but then Indiana. So those are the top 6. But UConn scored again, 71-57. It's a 14-point lead, 1:30 to go in the second half. And Lamont Butler shoots a 3. It's short. Jackson, I feel so bad for the city of San Diego. They always have the bad luck in the postseason. Yeah, for sure. It's tough. Easy money to view Ohio State. Pretty interesting fact. Jackson Johnson, I thought UConn was already blue, but yeah, they are. I mean, to me, the blue bloods, like I said, is UCLA, UConn, Indiana, Duke, Kentucky, Carolina, Kansas. I know some people don't count Indiana anymore because they haven't won in a long time, but if they can start getting things going again, I think they're still a blue blood. All those are blue blood programs. They're great. Matt Bradley at the line for San Diego State. His free throw is up, and it's good, but still the Aztecs down by 13. The Ohio State says UConn's already blue blood, but they are getting closer and closer to being a dominant blue historically when comparing overall history to UCLA, Duke, UNC, and Kentucky. Easy money says UConn doesn't go as far back as UCLA, Kentucky, Indiana, Duke, Carolina. To me, those are just the blue bloods, though. UCLA, Kentucky, Indiana, Duke, Carolina, Kansas. Those are the blue bloods from history. And then UConn's now. They're like there now. It's interesting. Bradley hits them both. 71-59, 129 to go in the second. UConn still up by 12. Basically, they've got the game in hand. You never know. There can be some wild antics late. The San Diego State can still have a chance, but it's basically about over. Andre Jackson with the basketball. He brings it up to Jordan Hawkins. And now it's to Tristan Newton, and Tristan Newton's fouled by Keyshawn Johnson. It's probably not going to help. Tristan Newton's been doing a great job at the line in this game. If San Diego State has to keep fouling, it'll be tough. The Ohio State says UConn will be 10-1 in Final Four again all the time for men's college basketball if they hold on. That's crazy. The Ohio State is just insane. Yeah, I mean, they've been dominant when they've been in the tournament. They've been a great program the last 25 years. Jim Calhoun built the program. He did a great job, and now Dan Hurley's continuing that. Newton at the line for the first. He's 80% of the line this season. He's 6 of 6 tonight. Jackson said 5 national titles absolutely make you a blue blood, especially in 24-year period. Absolutely. And that's why they are along with the other programs. Like, again, UCLA, Kentucky, Kansas, Carolina, Duke, Indiana. They're the only ones that have won 5 or more. That's why you're a blue blood. And actually, Kansas only won 4. Kansas only won 4, but they've done so much else. The other ones have won 5 or more. And that's why they're blue blood programs. Tristan Newton hits both free throws. He's 8 of 8 at the line. 73-59. UConn up 14. And an air ball 3 by Trammell, and UConn with the rebound. There's not much the Aztecs can do. Probably just let this one dribble out. No fouling. It looks like they are going to foul, but there's no need. The Ohio State said we're approaching the end of an era for Jim Nantz calling college basketball games. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's sad on Jim Nantz. He's a fantastic commentator. He's done a great job, but yeah, it looks like it's over for him after this game. He's going to be doing other stuff, but he's had a great career. And what a game here for UConn. Michael Williams, thanks for being here. He said this one's over. Dave Lentz says UCLA blew up maybe back in the 70s. Pac-12 is so bad in basketball, half those teams can lose a bunch of 8th graders. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just historically you got to count them as one. Based on the fact that they've won all that they have, even if there were circumstances back then that were different. There wasn't many good teams and all that and other things, but still, it is what it is. UConn hit 2 more free throws. They're hitting all the free throws as well. UConn's doing everything right. And now you've got Matt Bradley missing a layup. He was looking for the foul. UConn with the rebound. It's over. 75-59, 50 seconds left. And Alex Caravan with the basketball. UConn's just going to dribble this thing out. Jackson, well, it looks like UConn's won all their March Madness games by double digits for sure. Yeah, and I had UConn having 75 points, but unfortunately for San Diego State, they only had 59, so they got nowhere near where I said for sure. Andre Jackson's driving in, and he tried to go up for a layup, which I don't really know why he just couldn't dribble that out, but I guess UConn was trying to go for another score. I mean, I get it. Connor Johnson, Dave Lynn, 2021, 5'8", and the Elite 8 were from the Pac-12, so that's interesting for sure. I remember that. The Ohio State says UConn didn't lose a single game this season outside of the Big East. That's another thing that's crazy to think about. Like you said, they lost 7 games in the Big East Conference this season, and then they lost the one to Marquette in the conference tournament. But outside of that, they didn't lose in the non-conference or in the tournament. That's nuts. You're absolutely right, the Ohio State. Easy money says UCLA made that 70s run, been in the Elite 8, some, et cetera, making some noise. Yeah, I mean, they're still a blue blood based on what they've done, but yeah, for the last 30 years, they haven't been, that great, just like Indiana hasn't been that great the last 30 years. But when they were good, that to me still counts as a blue blood. Specifically now that Mick Cronin's getting UCLA back to being pretty good, and Indiana's getting there. Mike Woodson's bringing Indiana back in the right direction, so it depends for sure. I think it's just going to take time for some of these older blue bloods that have struggled for a while to get back. Even UConn was struggling for the last 10 years, but Dan Hurley's bringing them back. Mike Woodson can bring IU back, UCLA with Mick Cronin, and then those two will still be blue bloods as well. But it's really interesting for sure. But yeah, UConn's going to the line again. Jordan Hawkins, because he did decide to drive into the lane. He tried to drive in, get another layup, which I don't blame him. You're in the national championship game, and you want to take every advantage that you can get. But UConn could have dribbled that out. But now Andre Jackson, he missed the first free throw. So now I'll have the second. Seeing Dan Hurley on the side, he's hugging Jordan Hawkins. It's always so nice to see the winning teams coaching players. It's crazy. They're having so much fun over there. But a lot of people picked the UConn blowout, and technically they've done it. They've blown out San Diego State to an extent. The Aztecs hung around for as long as they could until the end. 30 seconds left in this game, and there's a lot of extracurriculars going on with players leaving the floor. There's a lot of hugging from Dan Hurley, a lot of sad players and coaches from San Diego State. It's really tough to see. But still got to shoot that second free throw for Andre Jackson. The Ohio State said we get to look forward to one shining moment later on tonight, for sure. The one shining moment's awesome. They started that in 1987 when Indiana beat Syracuse in that championship. Keith Smart shot, and you had One Shot a Moment that year. The song came out in 1986, and they started using it in 1987. We've been doing it since. It's such a great tradition. I love One Shot a Moment. You can't beat it. But it's 76-59 UConn, 30 seconds left. And the Aztecs are either going to dribble it out or take one more shot. But what a game by UConn. They deserve this win. San Diego State with a three. They miss. UConn with the ball. And it looks like they're going to dribble this thing out. What a win. 76-59. UConn over San Diego State. What a win. The 5th national champion for the UConn Huskies. A blue blood program. What a win for the Huskies. 76-59. San Diego State, they did everything that they possibly could to get this win, and they really struggled. That is tough. Jackson Johnson, Danny Hurley's a winner. He will definitely be bragging to his brother Bobby on Easter dinner this Sunday. That's funny. The Ohio State says Furman, Prince, and Fairleigh Dickinson should definitely make the One Shot a Moment video. They should. Absolutely. Dave Valencia says, I don't think there's going to be dynasty in college basketball anymore. It's too much parity. Even the middle majors have great teams. Now, I agree with you. And it makes it great for college basketball as a whole because it's not the same teams. It's awesome. Easy Money says, that's all she wrote. 76-59 Huskies. What a win. 5th national title. Stinks for the Aztecs, but what a game. Herb Kushner says, I wasn't able to catch the stream of Being a Perfect Connecticut. I appreciate your commentary. Still subscribe. What's your plan for after the college season over? Thank you so much for being subscribed. Herb, thanks so much for being here. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I'll definitely have to figure out what I'm going to do. Probably try to figure out maybe some NBA. Not sure. Probably will, though. Maybe some, off-season, like middle sports, maybe some baseball. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I'm definitely do mostly, basketball and football stuff for sure. But I'll have to definitely figure it out. But we'll see. I'm so glad you guys like being here, though. I appreciate that. That's what makes it so worth it. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate all your compliments as well. Herb says, what other sports do you comment on? You're a great speaker, bro. Again, thank you so much for the compliment. I really appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I'm mostly college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL, but I'll definitely have to consider trying to do some other sports when it's not much going on, but it will be interesting. Josh says, thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much for being here as well. Easy Money says, congrats to your team, Urban. Yeah, completely congratulations. UConn is a great program. They are a blue blood, for sure. A blue blood program, 5 titles in the last 24 years. Incredible. John says, thumbs up, UConn. Good. San Diego State. Yeah, they definitely tried, for sure. Herb Kushner says, keep commentating, bro. Don't stop. You're going places. Again, I appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. The Ohio State says, are you in college? You should major sports broadcasting or sports journalism. I'm definitely thinking about it, for sure. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm kind of just trying to figure out right now what what my future will hold and everything. It just kind of figuring it out. But I potentially could really like enjoying doing sports broadcast or sports journalism. I'll definitely have to think about it for sure. I really like doing it. So with all your guys' great comment support, I really appreciate it. You never know. Maybe it will happen. It would be awesome if it did. It would be great. I appreciate it so much. The Ohio says your commentary is so good. Thanks for the comment. Jackson says Jeffrey's one of the best in the business. Thank you, Jackson. You guys are great, man. Easy Money says, great show as usual, Jerry. Take care, everyone. Catch y'all later. Again, thanks for being here, Easy Money. Always, it's a great stream when you're here. Appreciate it. But what a game tonight. 76-59 UConn over San Diego State. That was a great win. I mean, I was really hoping it would be a close game, but I don't really think a national championship game has to be super close to be great. I mean, it's still the national championship. It's still a lot of fun. You guys made it great as well, for sure. You guys were awesome. But overall, it would have been nice to see it being a close nail-biter down to the end. And at least San Diego State, they made a run. They tried. They did everything they possibly could, but they fell short. But what a win by the UConn Huskies. That was a dominating performance. They played fantastic basketball, and they deserved their 5th national title over the Aztecs, 76-59. There's nothing else you could say. They dominated in the post play with Sonogo and Klingman. They dominated with their guard play over San Diego State. The Aztecs overall were just really struggling. They just couldn't get anything going throughout most of the game. And then when they finally made a run, it just kind of was too late and they couldn't sustain it. UConn just kept fighting back every time the Aztecs got it close. And I think that is what made the difference. UConn just kept extending the lead back every single time. But it's really interesting for sure. The Ohio State for the win says UConn responded like a champion and ending the game on a 16-4 run when San Diego State cut the lead to 5. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's how you are a championship team. That's how you're defined as a team, is when you make those runs. When you allow a team to get back in the game and you can't stop the run, you're not going to win as many games. You're going to lose some games. UConn, they had a stretch in Big East play where I don't know if it was just every game was getting to them, but they were losing those games. They were struggling to get out of the funk that they were in. They were just struggling altogether. They couldn't break out of it, and they were losing games. They were allowing teams to go on big runs. The game that really, reminds me of the most, the St. John's game. They lost to St. John's, who didn't even make the tournament. And St. John's went on a big run the second half. UConn just couldn't stop it. But after that game, UConn never let it happen again. And they never really let a team go on a big run and they couldn't come back. They just kept dominating. That's what UConn did. They just dominated every position. That was the key. And that's what, made them a great team down the stretch of the season and why they won a national title, and they deserved it. Their 5th title. What a win for Dan Hurley. Like Jack said, brag about to Bobby Hurley. But unfortunately for San Diego State, they fell short, but hopefully they can get back there again. That would be really cool to see as well. Hopefully that's not the end of their story, but it will be very interesting to see what happens in the future in college basketball if we get more parity like this with some new teams. But UConn, with their 5th national title, really establishing themselves as a blue blood. And what a win, 76-59 for UConn. But thank you guys so much for being here. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Share the stream out on social media. I hopefully will be back soon to do some more live streams on some other sports. Let's maybe try to figure out, particularly maybe the NBA. We'll have to see. Maybe do some other sports. Have to figure that out. But it should be a lot of fun. I hope to see you guys back soon. I appreciate all your support. Thank you guys so much for getting me to 530 subs. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And I definitely can't wait to live stream again soon. See you guys back. But I really appreciate you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Just as awesome as this game was. I really appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for being here. You guys were great. March Madness is over. College basketball is over, unfortunately, but we'll have next year. Always going to look forward to next year. The portal is going to be crazy. It's going to be so much off-season content with that, and college football is going to be coming around the corner, so it should be awesome. Great stream. Take care. Thank you, Ohio State, for the win. But I appreciate all you guys so much. Thanks for being here. March Madness is over, but what a national championship game. UConn winning their 5th title, 76-59 over San Diego State. What a game. But again, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for being here, everybody. And I will see you guys soon. What a March Madness. What a win for UConn. Thanks for being